Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Redshirt podcast. It's your host, Trey. Usually I'll have my guy DG here, but he got caught up with some other stuff. So it's just gonna be me solo dolo today, but it's all good. Nevertheless, we still gonna have a fun time and we're gonna talk some college football. Uh First off, before we get started, make sure you guys drop a like, drop a repost, comment, uh, and of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel already. We look forward to talking to each and every one of you guys. Let me go ahead and get started because me personally, I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to make sure everybody shows up, shows love. And of course, make sure y'all show some yeah, show some love to the platform. To all social media, you can find us all on Kingdom Cast on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, just about everywhere. Kick, Twitch, wherever you might find us from. Give me one second, y'all. And tonight, nothing different. Tonight, we're talking about a very, very important game, a very important couple games, actually. Give me one second. I'm trying to get this out to everybody. Get this out to everybody. Get this out. Yeah, 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 yep. Hold on. Give me one second. Oh yeah, I forgot. I left that one. All right, but yeah, no. In the meantime, between time, yeah. So let's go ahead and get started to it. We got a very special episode here today, where we will be talking about about the final four teams. As y'all see by the title of the live stream, and then there were four. I know that y'all haven't seen this for a minute, but let's go ahead and do a quick little breakdown of the games. I gotta figure out how to. I'm full screen. Let me go ahead and figure out how to get. Yep, there we go. We're out of there. First off, we have to talk about which is how did we get here? Okay, this was a 12 team playoff, a time where a lot of teams, a lot of fans got to show up. We got to see a lot show up. We got to see a lot leave. Uh, but nevertheless, we still got to see some good football. Let me get this right here. Let's go ahead and put this right up here on the screen. My bad, y'all. Go ahead and share the screen real quick. First off, with shout out to ESPN for doing what they do best. First off, this is how we got here. Number one, start off in particular order. The very first game of the college football playoff was Alabama versus Oklahoma. A lot of teams had not believed in Alabama, had not believed in exactly what Alabama was. And Alabama went in to Norman, Oklahoma. A lot of people said, "Oh, Alabama's having an Oklahoma problem." Alabama went ahead, cut that out. Alabama went in down 17 to nothing. They were down 17 to nothing, scored, I believe, 21 to 24 unanswered points, and they came back and they beat Oklahoma in Norman to advance on to go play Indiana. Second game of the day was at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, but to the people out in the Pacific area, it was 9 a.m. We got to see the what is it, the Orange Bowl? I don't know exactly what the advertisement was, but it was the Orange Bowl where wait, no, it wasn't an Orange Bowl. It was actually a home game. My apologies, y'all. Hold on. I got this whole thing messed up. I know it's been that kind of crazy of a day. We want to see Tulane play Ole Miss, where I mean honestly, Ole Miss just went ahead and did what we normally would do. Ole Miss just went at home against Tulane. They put up a decent fight, but at the end of the day, Ole Miss came out on top, dominated, moved on to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Moving on to the next game, we had JMU versus Oregon, which was a very entertaining ball game for like a little bit, and then it just kind of went left. Um, Oregon just straight, plain and simple, just handed out BTA all day long, and they moved on and they took on Texas Tech. From then on, we had the very first game, which was I believe, which was this time. Oh wait, no, of course, duh, I forgot one more. This is why I hate having this type of screen, y'all. We had Miami versus Texas A&M. That game was very interesting, a very windy game. Miami came out on top, 10-3. Moved on to the next game. We had now we can talk about it. Now we had we had Oregon, or wait, no, we had Miami versus Ohio State. This was the first game where we got to see Miami fans and Ohio State fans go back to back or back and forth, and it was nothing short than a Miami. Miami didn't really dominate, but they took care of business. Uh, really showed a lot towards Ohio State, and Miami took care of business. And they moved on. Then the next game, this one was at 11 o'clock. Oregon took on Texas Tech, and it was probably a fun game for probably about like 5 to 10 minutes. Oregon went ahead and they took care of business, and they dominated from that point on. Then right afterwards, you had Ole Miss versus Georgia. Ole Miss in Georgia was probably the best game out of everything in this quarterfinals, where it was a back and forth game, and looked at one point Ole Miss was going to win, and then Georgia came back and they put up 10 points, and then it just kind of looked like, okay, Georgia's probably settled in and all that. Guess what? The story of Trinidad Chambers continues, where he led this Ole Miss team down the field and hit a game-winning field goal, and then to cap it off, Ole Miss special teams took care of business, forcing a safety, and that's how the Ole Miss Rebels ended up coming out on top. Right afterwards, you had Alabama versus Indiana. You had the 9 versus the 1 seed. Alabama was looking like, hey, this is still the Bama that we know. Psych, straight Indiana BTA. It wasn't even close. Alabama just got their heads beaten. Uh, and from then on out, Alabama just kind of took care of business. So now that sets us up for the semifinal itself. Now we are setting ourselves up for the actual games. We got first off happening in about less than an hour from now. The Ole Miss Rebels. One of the great stories of all of college football this season. Trinidad Chambers, a former D2 player from Ferris State University. He's got a chance of doing something that a lot of people are doubting him to do, which is take down a powerhouse like Miami. Miami, on the other hand, they got a great guy. Miami is Miami. They feel like the U is back. Carson Beck is playing at an all-time high. Mario Cristobal looks insane. He looks great. He looks phenomenal. You got Akeem Mesidor. You got Ruben Bain. You got Malachi Tony. You got big boys in the trenches. You got secondary people. You got Mark Fletcher at the running back position. You got a lot of talent over there at Miami. And it looks like, and everybody is looking like, well, Miami beat Ohio State, and it didn't even look close at times. It didn't even look like it was even a game. And by the end of the day, Miami beat Ohio State. Now they're coming into this game with a -3 favorite in this game. This is the Fiesta Bowl that is in Glendale, Arizona. And right now, Ole Miss, they're a little upset. They're upset because of the fact that, number one, Lane Kiffin left us right after the Egg Bowl to go to LSU, and he didn't want to tell nobody until it was the end. And then now they got a lot more of a chip on their shoulder. They said, hey, we're not being this is Pete Golding's team. This isn't Lane Kiffin's team. This is Pete Golding's team. We're going to rally behind Pete Golding, and we're going to do what we need to do to win the game. Miami fans, they're feeling good. They're feeling confident. Some of them don't believe that Ole Miss has a chance. They think it's going to be straight BTA, and they about to host the first ever college football playoff. They feel like they about to be the host. They ain't got to go nowhere. It's right there. But there's a lot of things on the line, and there's a lot of different games that's set to be played. Let's talk about, first off, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and pull up these stats when it comes down to it. We're going to go ahead and talk about the difference of the different teams. Of course, everybody knows, especially if you've been watching your team play all season long, you're talking about two teams that off rip, they got a lot offense versus defense. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen again. This time, let's talk about their stats. We're talking about the stat leaders of both teams. Number one, starting off with, you got Miami, who is sitting right there at number 4 ranked overall points allowed for a defense. That is huge, because that is one of the biggest things that Miami has that's towards them. They said, hey, we took down, people told us we were playing the number one defense in the country, and we beat them. We held them, they hold teams to less than 10 points a game, and they beat them 24-14. They feel confident. They said Mario Cristobal, this is the year Mario Cristobal has to help us win a national championship. We're doing it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna be like the Buccaneers back in 2020, and we're gonna host a college football playoff national championship. We're gonna do it. We already coming up. They already heard a few of them. They talking about they coming up with tickets and all that. They've already looked at tickets, say, hey, we might as well just tailgate. We watch from the outside, watch our team win a national championship. Ole Miss, on the other hand, they feel like they're the dark horse. They, even though the line looks like it's -3, Ole Miss feels like a lot of people don't expect them to win. And you look at that number one total yards, Ole Miss sitting at almost 500 total yards outside of only North Texas, which most of them have now started to go to Oklahoma State. We'll talk about that later on down the line when we get closer and closer to the end of the college football season. And again, we talking about Trinidad Chambliss. This team sitting over there, not only do they have the most offensive yards, they got the most passing yards. Then they got a lot offensively. Ole Miss got a lot on their shoulders. They got a lot of chip on their shoulder. They say, hey, we got one of the best offenses. This is the best offense that Miami has ever seen, and we going to show them why we deserve to be here. The top off that, Miami's going to come back around and say, hey, we just talked about it. We got Ruben Mesidor, and we got Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor to go all side by side. This team is sitting over there. They feeling good. They sitting back. They say, hey, Trinidad Chambliss got to be doing something that we ain't ever seen before for him to win. That's how they feeling right now. On the offensive side, going back for Ole Miss, this is going to be a very competitive game because, number one, me personally believe that Keywan Lacey has a lot to do with how this game goes. I think especially we talk about Trinidad Chambliss as a passer. We talked about their passing yards, being the top leaders in passing yards. Now you kind of want to depend on Keywan Lacey because the one thing that I know personally is that a team is only good if you have balance. And for Keywan Lacey, it's going to be a very important position for him as a running back and also as one of the best players for Ole Miss. He's got to sit there and say, hey, I have to help keep my team in front of the sticks. Keywan Lacey, a former Missouri player. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my bias out there now. Yeah, Keywan Lacey went to Mizzou. Yes, sir. And Keywan is sitting over there. He's got a lot of confidence on him. He's a redshirt. He was a redshirt freshman. He came in, did what he needed to do. Now he's over at Ole Miss, and he's like, look, I deserve to be more than just RB3 at Missouri system. I go to Ole Miss, and now I get featured. Shout out to him. And now this is really setting up for a very good game for both teams. I think, me personally, as I alluded to earlier, I went on the space and people asked, they said, so who do you have? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm rocking with Hottie Toddy. I'm going to tell y'all why. Number one, shout out to Miami because they're proving a lot of teams wrong. They're proving a lot of fans wrong. A lot of people didn't want Miami in the college football playoff. They didn't want them to be here. They said, hey, Miami, y'all lost to Louisville and SMU, and y'all barely beat Notre Dame. And they sat there, they listened to everything. They listened to the committee put Notre Dame in front of them until the committee came out with their final 12. And they put Miami in over Notre Dame, which I personally believe that was a smart idea because honestly, I'm not gonna pride myself for a team who didn't go to a conference to be in a college football playoff. Now, granted, Notre Dame, they looked good last year. They made it to the national championship. But, I mean, me personally, you have to earn it. People talk about how it's so important for people to win their college football, their conference championship game. You got to be in one to say that you won one, to deserve to even say that you competed for one. And that's kind of where I'm at with that. So, number one, Miami has done a great job. But I'm going to tell y'all this. The reason why I personally have Ole Miss here is, number one, I think that a lot of people are forgetting exactly who and what Ole Miss is. Just because Ole Miss doesn't have a top 10 defense doesn't mean that they don't have a defense at all. Just because they're only known for Trinidad Chambliss and Keewan Lacey and all their other different receivers. See, I'm kind of like other people. I forget sometimes I forget the receivers. You got Harold Wallace, you got Keewan Lacey, you got Princely Uomah I don't know if I said his name right, but you got Princely. You got people on your side if you're Ole Miss. And seeing how everything else is kind of fluctuating into, again, a lot of people don't have Ole Miss as a winner here. Some people they got them. I feel like a lot of people have them as an underdog, but don't get it mistaken. Ole Miss has Harold Wallace. They got Deshaun Stribling, who you guys have seen us on Kingdom Cast, on Tell the Truth, on everybody have said that we wouldn't mind having Deshaun Stribling as one of our receivers. He was their second in wide receiving yards, but also they were number one in touchdowns. To go alongside that, they got Daquan Wright, the tight end. He's a very good player. He's averaging over 16 yards a catch. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year. He's got Deuce Alexander to go alongside. So again, this Ole Miss team, they got some people on both sides of the ball. Talking about Prince Will. Prince Will coming into this game, he finished off the season with 8 sacks, which I think that's going to be a guy that's going to have to be, you know what I'm saying? He's going to have to really make his name be known because a lot of people forgot what Princely is. To add on to that, you got Will Eccles to go alongside that. You got a lot of things for this Ole Miss defense. And the number one thing that people have forgotten, Ole Miss is one of the best teams at turning the ball over in college football. Don't get that mistaken. As much as y'all love everything that y'all see about Ole Miss or about Miami, Ole Miss got some dogs too. They got some guys who can get that ball back. Well, there's a lot of guys who can go ahead and get the turnovers, make short fields for Trinidad, and I think that's what's got to happen. My keys to the game for both teams: number one, for Miami, for them to win this game, number one, Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain, as well as their other frontline people, you're gonna have to dominate at the pinnacle of attack. You kind of saw that against Ohio State, where y'all saw times where Akeem Mesidor and Ruben Bain were lined up on the same side, and it confused every every blitz package, every coverage, and made Julian Satan sit back and really have to really process things. And by the time he looked up, there was already a Miami player on his blind side. Then they not only, when it seemed like Ohio State was trying to get fluctuated and get back into it, Miami used their opportunities of turning that ball over and getting down the field and scoring a touchdown, which actually ended up being one of the biggest plays in the game. So for Miami, my 3 keys of the game. Number one, you have to dominate on both sides of the ball. Number two, Carson Beck Carson Beck needs to just control what he can control. I say this all the time to some of my players when I used to coach. Control what you can control. Don't try and be Superman. Be you. I think Carson Beck does not need to be some type of big time quarterback. He needs to be Carson Beck. What we have seen from Carson Beck this whole entire time, we called him Doofy. We goofed around and called him Doofy all the time. And the one thing about it is for Miami to win, Carson Beck cannot be the one who decides the game winning drives. My apologies. So that's number 2. Let Carson be Carson. Number 3, Mark Fletcher keeps Miami in front of the sticks. Miami is Ole Miss is a team that they pride themselves on. They think that they have a better D-line than what people believe. And for Miami to keep this game going, they need Mark Fletcher to average at least 3.5 to 3.7 yards per carry. If he's averaging at least 4, you're setting up pretty well for Miami. These things have to happen. Malachi Tony, we know Malachi Tony, they're going to try and figure out ways to get him open, to scheme him open, to get him in some really big plays. That's got to set up for now. One of my 3 keys to the game is for Ole Miss. Number 1, Ole Miss DBs. I got a special task for y'all. Ole Miss DBs cannot peak. I'm going to tell y'all what it is. A lot of people don't believe this. A lot of people, they don't hear this enough. The one of the main keys reasons for our DBs giving up big plays is they get caught peeking in the backfield, and that gets them beat on double moves, that gets them beat on deep posts, that gets them beat on any big time play. Ole Miss has to keep all of Miami's receivers in front of them. They have to make Carson Beck go dink and dunk just about all game long. They cannot let Mark Fletcher set things up for the play action. We know this for certain, that we know that Miami, they love to establish the run a little bit early. They establish the run a little 2-3 yards. And then once they see the DB start poking down, they start going for the deep shot to Tony. They start going to deep shot to other players. Miami is going to have to take a big look, or Ole Miss is going to have to keep their receivers in front of them. If they cannot keep those Miami receivers in front of them and they allow Carson Beck to sit back and try and deliver the ball and have that time in the pocket, it's going to be a very long night for Ole Miss. You got, like I said, you got Malachi Tony, you got CJ Daniels. He's been a big for them during the season. You got Keelan Marion. He's been a guy that Miami has needed for them to help out. It's been a whole entire thing. So, number one for Ole Miss, beat Miami in the physicals. Beat them in the trenches. Don't give Carson Beck that extra time. DBs, they have to be stout and don't peek in the backfield. And the third and final one, let Ole Miss have balance. Trinidad Chambliss is probably one of the, again, like I said, this is the best offense Miami is going to see all season, statistically and eye test. Miami is going to have their hands full with this Ole Miss offense. For Ole Miss, you're going to have to stay in front of the sticks. You're going to have to let Trinidad be a runner as well as a passer. Keewan is going to have to keep his head down and move and be able to gain yardage. No dancing. Don't do none of that extra stuff. You go get the yardage you need to do to help set up your quarterback for better opportunities. So I think those are my three things of the game for both teams. I think that both of these teams have the opportunity of doing something special. If Ole Miss wins, this is going to really set up a lot of things set up for Ole Miss championship in Miami, a chance to win their first in God knows how long. And for Miami, they got a chance to be a host of the College Football National Championship. So, with that being said, that is going to be the first eyes of the game for me there. Now, moving on. The second game, the game that is everybody has got to be looking forward to. It's a rematch, ladies and gentlemen. This is a rematch between two interconference rivals. Well, they're not really rivals. Two interconference opponents. The Big Ten has been showed up and they've been represented well. In the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, we have the Oregon Ducks versus the Indiana Hoosiers. If y'all were there for me and DG early on in the season, my pick was Oregon to win the national championship. It has not changed. I doubled down on it, especially after the Indiana loss, because I sat over there and I looked at Oregon's scheme. I said, ooh, that one hurt, Dan. That one was the one. Like Indiana, last time Oregon played, Indiana went into Eugene, which is arguably me. I believe that Eugene is probably one of the loudest places to play in college football. Indiana went into Eugene, and they made Dante Moore look silly. They did. Dante did not have the best game against them. Let me go look at the stats real quick. Indiana, the last game that they played. So Dante Moore went 21 for 34, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. That is not a thing that you want to see from your star quarterback. Indiana was more or less able to not only get turnovers, but they were also able to win when it counted. They shut out, or outside of a Brandon Finney touchdown for the final. From then on, from after the 12:42 mark, when it was a tie game, Indiana went down, scored a touchdown with Elijah Surratt, and then they finished off with a field goal to put the nail in the coffin. The one thing that I know about Dan Lanning, is Dan Lanning has been in the game for a lot longer than people think. Dan Lanning was a coach at Alabama. He was behind Nick Saban. He learned from Nick Saban as a GA. Then he goes to Georgia and learns behind Kirby Smart. He picks up some more things off of Kirby Smart. The one thing that these two guys outside of them, Alabama and Georgia playing each other, is these two teams have one common similarity. They learn how to not let an opponent beat them twice. And I think that this is where the Oregon Ducks, I know, they lost Jordan Davidson. Jordan Davidson has a broken clavicle. He's done for the playoffs. He's not playing this week, and he's not going to be playing if they make the national championship game. There is no Jordan Davidson. They are leaning, or I've heard from Oregon fans themselves, they are not only leaning on Noah Whittington, they are leaning on former Northwest Missouri State running back, St. Louis native, Jay Harris. This is their only power back that they have available. Jalen Lamar, he's hit the portal. A lot of they're down players. Oregon is down an extra running back. JD Jordan Davidson, he did have an impact on this game. He had 8 carries for 59 yards in the last meeting against Indiana. And this time, now they're leaning towards on Jay Harris to help take the load off of Dante and everything else. This right here, I think that it's going to be a very interesting game because not only have we seen the one thing that we know about teams, we saw it with Georgia and Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost to Georgia earlier on in the season. Ole Miss came back in this last round and beat Georgia to make it here. Same thing goes for Oregon. This looks like a Ole Miss Georgia type tape where Indiana beat Oregon at home. Indiana beat Oregon in Austin. Now Oregon has been they've been wanting this. How much of y'all know that Oregon's been wanting this? Hold on, let me go ahead and go while we continue to talk about it. Let me show y'all exactly what Oregon has been doing to get themselves prepared for this game. This game has been a very impactful. This is very impactful for the one and multiple things. Oregon is wanting to win their first ever national championship. They got close a lot of times. It was no dice. This time, they're trying to do it with Dan Lanning. They want Dan to win it for them. Hold on, give me 1 second while I find it. I'm trying to find it real quick. Here it is. We're going to go ahead and get this uploaded in just a second. Sorry, I wish next time I'm going to make sure I have my videos clipped up and ready to go. So, hold on, we're going to get this right. Y'all, this is the reason why I believe that Oregon's got it right here. Y'all know the song. If y'all know the song, y'all know what it is. Oregon has been playing the song by YTB's Get Back at Practice. Yeah, they over here. Oregon is over here playing Get Back, man. They playing that Get Back. This is something that's been on Dan Lanning. This has been on the Ducks' mind. This has been on everybody's mind. They're all ready to go. They want to see how Oregon's going to do. Is Oregon really for real? Is this really the team that is? I don't believe in Oregon. I personally believe in Dan. I know that the one thing about this team is they're very talented. They got a lot of great players. They got Decorian Moore on the outside. They got Malik Benson, which I think is going to be a big X factor for them in this game. You got you got Noah Whittington for this game. You got Jay Harris in this game. Dante Moore, he's playing for the idea of going to the NFL draft. There's a lot of speculation saying that he might go. There's also some speculation that he might come back. And this right here, this is going to be a big one. I think that this game, the number one, the people to watch and the people and the big 3 key factors on Indiana side, Aiden Fisher, linebacker for the Indiana Hoosiers. That is a guy that Indiana leans on not only to drop in coverage, but he can help keep the receivers in front of him. Also on the Indiana side, Fernando Mendoza. This is the Heisman candidate. A lot of things we saw that when Fernando had time to deliver the ball, he doesn't really turn the ball over all that much. He sat back against Alabama, and he basically had whatever he wanted. They gave him whatever he wanted. In the last game, he went 14 for 16, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The only thing that he had was 3 sacks. You take a look at as well on this Indiana roster. Indiana got some people who can help run that ball. They got Raleek Hemby. They got my man. Oh my bad, Roman Hemby. I'm sorry, y'all. You got Roman Hemby. They got Omar Cooper. They got Omar Cooper Jr. They got a lot of different players. They got Elijah Surratt, is what people know him as. Uh, he's going to be a guy that they're going to be looking towards, and it's going to be a lot of things. Indiana not only knows how to run the ball, but they know how to establish balance, and they know how to keep things in front of them and dictate the tempo of the game. My three keys for Oregon. Number one, what you need to do is Bear Alexander, Mateo Uyangale, Tui, I don't know how to say it. Tuiyopi. Hold on, let me look at his name. Tuioti, my bad. Tatum Tuioti. He's a guy. He's one of their linebackers. They run a 3-4 coverage. That is going to be a guy that I think Oregon is going to need to lean on those three certain players. They need those guys on the defensive end as well as Brandon Finney in the back end. I think that's probably that is the best college freshman corner in college football right now. You saw Brandon Finney get 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery against Texas Tech last week. He's got to show up again. He's got the task and the duties of lining up alongside on Elijah Surratt, and he's got a handful of them, and he's got to be able to neutralize that. Oregon has a defense. They need to control the trenches. They also need to stop the run game of Indiana, because if they set up and they let Indiana run the ball however they want, then it's going to really set up Fernando Mendoza for a lot of passing yards and a lot of passing touchdowns. And the last thing in all of this, the Ducks got to go ahead and let it fly. That is the main thing about it. Oregon needs to go ahead and allow them to. Oregon needs to go ahead and my bad, y'all. Oregon needs to go ahead and let it air out, man. They got to just go ahead and throw that ball wherever they need to, and they need to go ahead and they need to dictate tempo and time of possession. A lot of people were very critical of Oregon against Texas Tech. Texas Tech went ahead and they were trying to so hard. Texas Tech was they tried their best to put up a game, and they did. They did with David Bailey. They did with Lee Hunter. They did with Jacob Rodriguez and a lot of their other DBs. A lot of people have criticized Oregon's offense and said Oregon's offense did not look great. They cannot look like that again, or else it's going to be BTA for Indiana. I fully agree. I think that they really have to. They really have to allow this game to be dictated in the hands of Dante Moore in this powered offense. So that is my those are my 3 keys for Oregon. On the Indiana side, go ahead and you have to get to Dante Moore. You have to make Dante make mistakes. You have to give him coverages. One of the biggest things I've criticized Dante Moore about is because of the fact that he can't really has a good feel of the game. At times he gets a little complacent. He makes some errant throws. He throws some bad balls that he probably should have never thrown. There's been games, especially against Texas Tech, where I personally have seen Dante, especially I think it was a 4th down in the Texas Tech game, where he had a chance of either running it or he had Kenyon Sadiq wide open. He tried to force feed the ball. It wasn't there. It was incomplete. The whole thing for Oregon is they have to be able, or for Indiana, they have to dial up different schemes and different blitz packages and different looks. Because when you're able to knock Dante Moore off his rhythm and his timing, you're going to set him up for turnovers. So that's one of my key number 1 is Indiana not only dictate the time possession, but also make him turn that ball over. Number 2, Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr., those two have to help set up. They have to help set up Roman Hemby. They have to. If you don't sit over there and you don't help set up Roman Hemby, it's not going to be a good look for them. They have to, like, Indiana has to preach balance. I heard Kirk Cignetti personally say, he said in the Big Ten, in the interview, he said, we have to dictate time of possession. We have to establish the run. We have to establish balance. Do not get yourself set up into 3rd and long, 2nd and long situations or obvious passing downs. You have to set yourself up and stay in front of the sticks. That is what Indiana has to do. They have to dictate the tempo of this offense and help take a lot of the load off of this defense. That is my key number 2. Key number 3 is Indiana. If you really want to win this game, you really have to do a lot of things. What's up, D Mac?
Hi, how's it going? How are you
Oh,
doing?
thank God you're here, bud. Because I was like, God dang, I need some water.
Yeah, go ahead. Take your sip. You know what? Something just happened. I'm
What's
sorry for
up?
crashing the stream, everybody, but I just recorded
We
an
good with it.
entire video. I just recorded an entire video doing my NFL playoff predictions, and then I
What's up?
realized I wasn't recording, so I'm upset. So that's why I'm here. Let's talk some college football, man.
Let's do it, man.
We got Miami and Ole Miss, baby. We got Carson Beck versus Trinidad Chambliss, man. I
Yes,
cannot
sir.
wait. I am excited. Carson Beck was out there looking like a dog last week,
Oh,
man.
dude, yeah,
He was out there
yeah.
looking like a dog. I was like, wow, you acted totally different. I ain't never ever seen you act
I ain't
like
never
this
seen you like
before.
this.
I was shocked. I can't tell you enough, bro. I can't wait to watch this Miami defensive line. You know, I've been talking about this. The ability for Mesidor and Bain as a combination to be able to give offensive lines issues is incredible. Obviously, Ole Miss has a really good run game with Lacey and a little bit of Chambliss's legs too.
Yeah,
I like Stribling a lot. You've obviously seen me
yeah.
include him in a bunch of Chiefs mock drafts. So I this is incredibly fun tonight as far as I'm concerned. Like I
Oh yeah.
can't wait.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look, I'm about to try and find one of your mock drafts. Be like, yeah, y'all think D-Mac loves Shriveling, man.
I love Stripling a lot, man. I mean, he's good. He's 6 foot, 6'1". He shows a little bit of wiggle enough. It doesn't seem like he completely gets over his skis or anything. You know, he shows a
Oh
little
yeah.
physicality. I like him. I like him. As far as I'm concerned, he's a nice little day 3 wide receiver target for me. But no, like I think we've got 2 awesome semifinals matchups. You know, when I talk about college football, I'm more of a quote unquote casual, just from standpoint if I love the storylines. And so for me personally, to have 2 teams that, well, I should say 4 teams in when I'm not going to say, but 2 teams in Miami specifically that's trying to reform their glory and say, hey, we used to be the dynastic, standard of college football, obviously back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And now all of a sudden we have this opportunity to take advantage of it now. That would be an awesome storyline. Ole Miss doing this without their head coach is just
Yes.
the only the insanity of college football can produce something like that. So that would be a great one. And this is why, in my opinion, you expand the college football playoffs so you can get that. Or on the other side, you get a program like Oregon that feels like it's been chasing this ghost for 25 years of having these advantages that they haven't been able to come through on and being able to get their first championship. Or obviously Indiana, complete Cinderella story, but looks like the most physically dominant team in the bracket. So
Yeah.
you can pull it back up. We could talk about
Oh yeah.
it. I know.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I was
Look.
just going through everything.
Y'all talking about how much they love. Look, at just about every draft pick, he's like, oh look, oh he's there. Oh, Deshaun Strickland. Yeah, we're gonna take him. I'm
That's
like,
what I'm taking, boy. I'm easily going for him. Obviously, we will be able to see 3 of these guys over the next few days. Ruben Bain Jr. I
four
don't even.
actually.
Oh yeah,
Four.
4. Yeah, I took out Stribling because of that 4. Ruben Bain Jr. You ain't got to say anything about him. Like people got to worry about the arm length. I understand it, but this is the thing about and arm length helps you create this. But this is the thing about football in the trenches. It's about leverage. And somebody that is the build of Ruben Bain Jr., when he plays with such power, with the agility to operate in close spaces, he creates so much leverage. And it's very difficult for offensive linemen who are 6'4, 6'5, 6'7. Tough to be able to bend down and be able to. So it's very difficult for them to deal with that sort of thing when you're getting forklifted by Ruben Bain Jr. Amari Washington, 330, and he doesn't move like he's 330. And that's why he's an
Not
early
at
day
all.
2 pick for me. It's fun to watch, and he's definitely he could 2 gap, but he also can push the pocket or just shove guys off if he wants to. I just talked about Stribling, of course, and then Noah Winnington brings you a little bit of juice out of the backfield. Obviously, kind of the prototypical Oregon running back in a lot of ways, but that's why he's thrown in there in the 7th round. I like him, but yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I love how you talked about the whole thing about storylines because we got a lot of great ones. You got number one. I think the one of the things is just like Miami making it to the national championship after a lot of people didn't have them in it.
Mm-hmm.
You had, I mean, you got Ole Miss and the Trinidad Chambliss story of him going from D2 to now he's like this absolute favorite of a quarterback within Ole Miss and everywhere. And then now you also add in a lot of these other different ones. My dog CJ, what up with it?
Gang membership.
Wait, we're gonna pick up the slack
We
for
all
until
gonna
the
pick it up.
show's
Yeah,
done,
look,
man.
look, man, look.
He
We
said
go
6 o'clock.
6. Yeah, we gonna go rock with it.
There you go.
And I think the other thing about it is like the one story I really want to happen is you got on Oregon side, you got Oregon, Indiana, which is the rematch of the Big Ten. In the Big Ten, that I think honestly, me personally, I would have loved to have seen this in the Big Ten championship. But you got a lot of different stories speculating. Imagine Miami versus Oregon in the national championship.
Mm.
You get to see
That'd be
Mario Cristobal.
Nike have a field day.
Yeah, like
They
you
be
get to
happy as hell.
see, you get to see, you get to see Mario Cristobal go up against his former team. There's something cinema about that.
Good storyline for sure.
Oh yeah. So I already said about my stuff. I want you guys to come in because I know that y'all have stuff that y'all have to do. Tell me about you guys. Tell me what you guys think about these matchups. Tell me exactly what you guys think about everything entirely. I know Mac, you talked about your 4 guys that you're going to be seeing this week. Both of you guys, yeah. What are y'all? What are y'all excited to see the most?
Go ahead, CJ.
Game night. I'm excited to see how Ole Miss handles the pressure of blocking the best duo in the country of Messador and Bain. How they've been wrecking everybody's offensive line, getting everybody issues. So from a game plan standpoint, if Ole Miss wants to win this game, they want to make it a track meet shootout. They probably want to win the game like around 31-28, something like that, 31-30, like a high-scoring game. If they can score 30, they have a chance to win. If it's like a Miami scheme type of game, they want to win this game 24-17 or 24-20. You want to keep it very low scoring, maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns max each team. So it's going to be interesting to see which way the game goes. I'm picking Miami to win the game. I've always been a guy of trenches. O-line, D-line is the way to win in college football, and Miami checks both of those boxes for me. Obviously, I think Trinidad Chambers is the better quarterback of the two, but he can't win the game by himself. And I think I checked the numbers. Ole Miss gives up 146 on the ground. That's not a good look when you're going against a guy like Mark Fletcher and Shamar Brown. Mark Fletcher has been on a tear the last 2-3 weeks, so he's been playing extremely well. The O-line for Miami just been dominant, and that's why Cristobal recruited those guys, paid those guys for a reason to go out there and win football games, and I think that's what they're going to do tonight. So my favorite play for people who are betting, if you can, I like Trinidad Chambliss pass attempts. I think if they want to win the game, he has to throw the football. I don't think they're going to allow Kawan Lacey to dictate this game like Ole Miss would like. So I think his pass attempts was at 28, I think, or 31 last time I saw it. I think that's way too low. I think he's going to touch 40. If he wants to win this game, he's going to have to air it out, whether it be shovel passes, screens, anything to get quick game to get the ball out of his hands because you don't want to let Bain and Messador wreck the game plan. I think that's the way. So his pass attempts and Kawan Lacey's receiving yards, I think him in the passing game is going to be huge for them because the receivers aren't necessarily going to have all the time in the world to get open like they did versus Georgia. So I think final score prediction, it's kind of hard to call. I don't know. It really could go either way. I'm just going to – I had to lean anywhere. I'm picking Miami to win the game. I don't know if they're going to have to win a shootout, if they're going to have to win a low-scoring game. I think Miami finds a way to win. I think they're a better football team.
Oh, for sure. D-Mac, tell me about your guys. I mean, I know we kind of talked about the players to look forward to, but who do you got to win and talk to me about it.
I almost forgot. There we go. This is incredibly tough for me. I can absolutely see Chambliss going on another heater and just making it so that it doesn't matter as far as the pressure is concerned, because that's what it looked like versus Georgia. It looked like he was just nothing was going to phase him. Yeah, nothing was going to move him off a spot. He was like, I know where I need to get the ball, and I'm going to be able to create those plays, even if I got to run around 50 yards behind the backfield to make it happen. Like, it just didn't matter. Yeah, really. He was able to make every single play. So he can have that. He can have that type of game once again, even if Bain, Messador. And I will also say I really like this kid Moten, who's interior defensive lineman for Miami along that front too. Like, it can obviously give the Ole Miss offensive line a whole lot of issues. That's very much possible. That's probably honestly what's going to happen. It's just, hey, is Chambliss lights out again? And it's very possible. Carson Beck, can you avoid those mistakes? I'm not saying that Carson Beck, all of a sudden is going to turn into a pumpkin, but it could be possible that ends up happening too. I I'm very tempted to lean Miami. I am somebody that does usually go over the trenches. I think that they do have an offensive line advantage, specifically what CJ talked about, especially with that run game to kind of make it so that Beck isn't in too many disadvantageous situations. And then what they could do up front. I mean, Chambliss, again, he could just go unconscious and make it not matter. But I also think that they could eventually rattle him enough to be able to get the job done. So I'll probably lean Miami close, but I think it'd be a very entertaining game.
Yeah. I said earlier that I'm gonna go ahead and say it again. I personally think I like Ole Miss just because I think that this is probably Miami's best offense that they've ever seen. I think that especially you take a chance of Trinidad Chambliss in the run game. You got Keelan Lacey also in the run and receiving game, and then as well as the tempo that Ole Miss can play. I think that can give Miami some fits. I think that a lot of things that people don't really recognize is that they act like Ole Miss has just some inferior. They don't have that inferior defense. That they don't have some good defense, and I don't agree with it because I think that honestly, like this team, they got Princely Uwamamali in, which I think a lot of people they kind of slept on him a little bit. He finished off the season with 8 sacks. They got a guy up front. I forgot the nose tackle for Ole Miss, but I mean honestly. And plus, again, they got a lot to show for him because Lane's out the door. They want to prove to Lane that we didn't need you to win. They're trying to tell the media they don't need Lane Kiffin to win these big games, and I think this is a big chance for them to show it. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to the next game. We got it. This game isn't tonight, but it's tomorrow, and it's another banger. Oregon and Indiana. This game is actually in Atlanta. This is in Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of speculation was coming into it, talking about they were down Jordan Davidson because he's got a broken clavicle. Now they're gonna go to a guy from DG. I mean not DG, but DMAC from your neck of the woods, NJ Harris.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into it, what are you guys thoughts on the game? And let's do a 3 keys to the game. I did it for me. What are y'all 3 keys to the game to win for each team?
I'll say Indiana, the key for me is just making sure that you keep it about football. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but don't get into a track meet. There's no reason to act like this is a pretty fight. No, you've been playing smash mouth football the entirety of the year. You're the more physical team. Impose your will on Oregon from the jump and continue to stay ahead of them. If you do that and you're able to make them feel like they got to drop back a lot and try and have Dante Moore throw them out of this, then I think that you're going to be in position to win this game. So jump on them early. Oregon side, kind of similar to, or I guess the antithesis as far as that's concerned, don't get down early.
Yeah.
I don't think that they have the ability to come back, especially with how great Indiana's defense is, how physical it is. That will wear them down on the course of the game if they feel like they're always chasing. They got to have some momentum on their side and feel like they can be balanced, especially on offense in that aspect of it. And then, hey, can you get Fernando Mendoza? Just give you one. Yeah, if you can get one, then you got a shot. If you don't get one, then it's going to be very tough, in my opinion, especially with the way that they can play ball control. So I would say, that physicality for Indiana is special, man. And I'll spoil my pick. I'm going to be picking them for that physicality because I think that they're incredibly balanced on both sides, and they impose their will every single time that they go out there and play.
No, for sure.
Same. Before the year, never would have thought I would say Indiana #1 overall seed. Never thought I would say Indiana playing for a national championship. I thought I was in a basketball space. This is national. This is football. Kind of crazy. Nobody in the country saw this coming. I looked at some of the preseason picks. Nobody had Indiana. Nobody had Ole Miss. There were some people that thought Miami and Oregon naturally 2 bigger programs, spend a lot of money. But it is going to be good to see some new blood being a national championship, so that's going to be cool. But keys to this game tomorrow in the Peach Bowl, definitely, like D-Mac said, it's going to be on Dante Moore. He threw the ball a lot more than I thought he would versus Texas Tech. I think he had north of 30 attempts. So, obviously, they were leaning on him to win the game. And I think if you're going to do that versus Indiana team, who already has a beat on what you like to do, I don't think that's a recipe for success. You want to run the football. And between these two teams, I think Indiana has a better running attack with him being black and all their running backs. Obviously, you can't sleep on Mendoza. He can always extend the play with his legs as well. And I'm going to say it, bro. I know the best receiver in his playoffs has been Charlie Becker, bro. Every time he needs to make a play, they throw it to him. He comes down with it. Like,
Yeah.
He's been my favorite play as far as betting wise. Anytime touchdown, longest reception, he finds a way to make a play because obviously their number one receiver, Elijah Surratt, gets all the number one corners, rightfully so. He's the best receiver on the team. Then you got Cooper, who's made big plays for them, probably the catch of the year versus Penn State to win the game to keep their season alive.
Still
then
can't
all of
believe
a
he made
sudden,
the catch.
Yeah.
that's easily the craziest catch.
He was
ever.
like, dude. I was like, what?
Like literally like a blade of grass hit the grass. Still don't know how he caught that. And then all of a sudden in Ohio State, who's the guy that's just mossing everybody every time they threw the ball up? Charlie Becker. Yeah. Some white kid, Eric Decker looking from Indiana, just comes out of nowhere and starts mossing everybody. I'm like, who is this kid? I'm like, all right, every week he needs to make a play. He makes a play.
Yeah.
So if you want to bet his longest reception for 20, 30, 40 yards, he's probably going to hit it. It's probably going to cash. I'm going to take the ladder. For Indiana to win this game, I think they're going to keep it low scoring. I don't think they want to get in the track with me. I don't think they need to, honestly. I don't expect Oregon to score that many points. Respectfully, they struggled a lot versus Texas Tech, a good defense in their own right, but Indiana has an even better defense, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be another low-scoring game. So this game favors Indiana. It favors Mendoza. If it comes down to one possession, I'm going to go with the Heisman winner. He's been making big plays, whether it be throwing the ball, extending with his legs, not taking sacks. He's been doing that all year. And Cignetti is a madman. Every time I doubt him, every time I think he's going to lose, he finds a way. So I picked against him, and I'm not doing it anymore. So Indiana is my pick. I'm definitely taking the under in that game, probably under first quarter as well. But, yeah, Indiana has the edge in that game for me. Running the football, better defense, better quarterback, and their weapons are generally healthy. And Oregon losing players at this time of the year is not a good thing. So I'm definitely giving Indiana the edge, and I think they have the better – O-lines are probably similar. I think I would give Indiana – well, Indiana would have the edge on defensive line, even though one of their guys are hurt, even though they still play well without him versus Alabama. But I think overall they have the core pieces. You want weapons and quarterback, they have those. So I'm definitely going to pick Indiana, and I think they have the edge to win this game.
I like that point specifically about Oregon kind of struggling a little bit with the Texas Tech defense. Obviously, we think that Indiana's defense is even better than Texas Tech's defense, and then we really lost, quote unquote, lost them. The game versus Oregon for Texas Tech was that they just couldn't generate anything offensively.
Exactly, you're not going to have that problem with Indiana.
Indiana's not going to have that problem.
No, I agree. Honestly, just because y'all know me, I love Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning's from Kansas City, and I just think that honestly, it's just the one thing that we say so much about the NFL that we have to say a little bit more. It's hard to beat a team twice. I think that especially you got two teams that got actual great receivers on both sides, because you got Kenyon Sadiq on the Oregon side for the tight end position. That's a guy that we talk about a lot. You got DeCorian Moore on the outside, a freshman sensation. You got Gary Bryant, which I don't know why people don't really talk about him a little bit more. You got Malik Benson to go alongside. Like, Oregon's got a lot of good weapons. Kind of like, yeah, what you said, like, you know, they're down a running back. But I mean, the thing about it is we know Dan, they've been doubting Dan about when it comes to these big games. And I think that he gets his really, truly biggest game that he can probably have. So, but nah, this is going to be a good one. While y'all up here, which, by the way, do y'all want to go ahead and just do this, like, turn this into, like, not only the preview, but also watching the game live?
I can't, unfortunately, but I would love to.
You good. Let me get y'all take on this, because this actually just came fresh off the printer. Breaking news from On3. Damon Williams, I know is zoomed out pretty much.
Yeah.
Damon Williams is, I know.
He didn't have a choice. He signed a contract,
What you
right?
mean leaning towards? You weren't leaving in the first place.
He's leaning towards a return to
I'm
Washington.
leaning towards returning. You were never going, son.
Well, he got dropped by his representation, and he
your
signed a
agent
contract.
dropped you, bro.
10
They
days
said,
ago.
bro, it's over with. You signed a deal.
You
bro.
didn't have a choice, brother.
You could, gang. You got to stay, bro. That's gonna be awkward as hell.
Oh,
when you
this-
call the OC.
Oh.
Hey, bro, when we having meetings, bro.
It's gonna be awkward
You
the
gotta-
entire
It's gonna be
season.
hell
What-
awkward. You trying to leave?
Forgive me. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. I didn't watch a lot of Washington. Is he good?
Yeah,
He's like
he's
he's Kyler Murray build. He's like 5'11", borderline.
some people
6'4".
say JD. Some people
Yeah,
say
like,
85.
He's faster than Kyler though. Super explosive, big arm. But he's undersized. So a lot of his throws were made, outside the pocket, moving the ball. He's like a Kyler Murray but faster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With
Look,
a bigger arm.
He signed a contract 2 weeks ago, and his representation dropped him. Of course, you're leaning towards saying you don't have a choice.
Leaning is the funniest part of this tweet. What else the option did he have? That's the funny part. I'm leaning towards. You weren't leaning anywhere. You're going back, son.
He's leaning towards not having to deal with a lawsuit. That's what he's looking into.
I mean, that just shows you, like, obviously college football, and y'all know this. College football's turned into the NFL. It's the Wild Wild West. It kind of reminds me of that deal. Who was that player? I think he's for the Cowboys or the Chargers. I forgot. Signed a deal that morning, and then that night flipped it, and then signed with another team in free agency. It's kind of similar.
You talking about DeMarcus Ware?
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware. Like I'm gonna go here, psych, and I'm going back. So it's kind of like that. I thought the situation was funny. Obviously, nobody wants this to go to litigation. Obviously, there needs to be some type of guidelines and rules when it comes to college football, because there's like kids just obviously going for more money, which there's nothing wrong with that. There just needs to be a proper channel and process about going with things. So if you're going to have a cap on what each athletic department can spend, it needs to be a hard cap. Not telling you can spend $30 million and then you give him $5 million to Brendan Sorsby. I know you're not spending $25 million on everybody else. There's more money coming in naturally, which we know you have the money to spend it. There just needs to be rules and guidelines so players like this don't think they can get out of contracts less than a week after they signed it, which is hilarious. So I think this is funny. It needed to happen because DeMond kind of looks stupid. Because if you really wanted to leave, why don't you just put your name in the portal? Why would I even sign a deal? Like, hey, I respect this deal. I honor what you guys are thinking. I just want to see my other options and I'll get back with you. You didn't have to sign the deal when they gave it to you. You could have said, let me put my name in the portal, see my options. If I don't like what I have, I'll come back. They would have respected you. But for you to sign it and then try to leave, you look stupid. So
we could have a 3-hour podcast on everything that needs to change regulation wise with college football.
So timing, the signing area period, transfer portal, it's all messed up, bro.
It's an insane landscape.
There's literally no rules. You just do whatever the hell you want at this point. So
I'm gonna tell y'all this. The one thing that really gets me is the planning of how Lane Kiffin did this. Because you were hosting, number one, like when DeMond was entering the portal, he came in with a do not contact, and everybody said
he didn't even give nobody a chance to call you. Come on,
like
bro.
you were like, oh, I'm gonna go to LSU, and Lane Kiffin at the time was at a basketball game with Sam Levitt, the Arizona State quarterback. How are you trying to get?
Boy was playing his options, wasn't he?
He was sitting over there like, you're next to a quarterback. You're next to a transfer quarterback that's like, LSU might be on the table. And then you get a notification on your phone that LSU is the guy to beat for the team to beat for DeMond. Well, it was like, as a quarterback, if I was Sam Levitt, I wouldn't even consider going back to LSU, honestly.
I thought the Sam Levitt deal was a done deal. Once Sorsby committed to Texas Tech, I thought it was like between those two. So that's why when I heard DeMond Williams' name, I was like, is somebody about to drop a bag on Sam that's not LSU? Because I thought it was either Sorsby or Levitt for LSU. I thought those were always the two options.
And I just that was just, I think that was crazy in itself, because again, it's like you're there on a visit to LSU, you look up and you're and you're sitting over here. Hold on, because I'm about to find it real quick. No.
Why do you try and find it? Can we just say, why is your Twitter in light mode?
Why do you have light mode? Why do you have dark mode?
Because I'm on my computer. On my phone.
I can't see it. I'm on my computer.
But no,
light mode on Twitter,
brother. Come on, chill out. Like,
no, you chill out. You're about to blind yourself.
Like, what does that tell you right there? Like, Sam Levin's looking at his phone, and
that is a funny picture.
Lane's like,
well,
we was, just in case you said no, we had a
this is you know what, and I'll say this. I'm obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, I am in favor of the players getting paid. So I will take the wild, wild west nature of college football. I also think the expansion of NIL has obviously been able to leaven out this landscape of being able to spread out the talent. And again, give us opportunities for some storylines like we are facing now in the college football semifinals. But it also has given us even greater opportunities for some of the most hilarious visuals that you will ever expect, which you will see Brian Kelly break dancing on a recruit in a little photo booth, which doesn't make any sense. Everything around Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, including the clothes being left on the side of the road. Spectacular visual comedy right there as far as that is concerned.
Well done, Ole Miss. Well done.
It's awesome. I love it. I love the fact that these guys are now kowtowing to these kids in this standpoint, and they have to do it out loud because now they have to get paid. It's very funny to me. And I understand why a guy like Nick Saban's like, yeah, I want no.
I'm not dealing with that.
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know why Bill Belichick wanted a part of this, but I understand he likes Jordan Hudson. So, shout out to Bill Belichick. I don't understand why any college head coach would be like, yeah, I want to sign up for this, because this sounds insane to me. But this is just a great visual.
Nah,
the daily job of a coach and the calls and emails you have to take to get these
I
kids to
couldn't
commit. It's like
imagine.
it's literally a 24/7 job. You don't have
But
no time to sleep.
this is the thing, and they obviously have now at the bigger programs had to hire legitimate GMs for this reason.
Facts.
You have to be the GM, you have to be the head coach, you got to be the head psychologist. Like you got to. There are so many things you have to do
Before you even
and
talk
that's
about football.
exactly before you can game plan football. You have to do so many things. You got to be the college counselor. You got to handle legal issues. Everything under the sun. I couldn't imagine it. You got to be the cap consultant of sorts with the contracts.
How much money?
I would literally have an aneurysm if I was a college head coach. I could not understand why you would ever want to take that job.
Way too much going on for sure.
And imagine being Kalen DeBoer. You got Alabama fans with 3 teeth yelling at you every single day that you got to win a championship. What am I supposed to do with that?
With this roster, like, come on, bro. You thought they was going to win a chip with this roster? Really? Come on, bro.
Ty Simpson want to go to the NFL.
He don't want
got
to deal with y'all
15
no more.
starts. What am I supposed to do with that?
I don't want to deal with y'all no more. And if I was Ty Simpson, you made the right decision. I ain't trying to deal with Alabama fans neither, son. I'd rather hold a clipboard in the NFL than play for them goofies. Well, I can tell you firsthand, them fans don't give 2 shits who you are. If you ain't winning the championship, you ass. That's how they feel. Straight up. If you don't win a ring, it's a bust. That's
he
a
must
fact.
have heard something great from the NFL. I'll tell you that much.
That's a fact.
I don't know if it's first round great. I can't imagine taking him in the first round, but he must have heard something great from the NFL to make him come out because I did not expect that at all.
I mean, naturally, before that, after the Georgia game, he was playing really good ball, was trending in the right direction. He had a very low quarterback to turnover ratio, but then after that, I think it was that Oklahoma game, it went all downhill after that. Turnovers, slip ups, bad reads, and obviously they couldn't run the football all year, so that wasn't an excuse. But that was reasoning of why GMs fell in love with him. Like, bro, they can't run the football at all. He's still throwing 2-3+ touchdowns a game and having a high completion percentage. And this is without a 100-yard rusher. So he's basically like he's doing this what Patton's doing. It's like he has no run game and he's finding ways to make plays. I'm like, yeah, but we'll see what he do it in the SEC championship game. You know, the big games, end of the season, and had a dud versus Oklahoma. Didn't play well versus Alabama in the rematch. So it's like, all right, I mean, versus Oklahoma in the rematch as well. And then obviously it's like, well, if he's not playing well in these big moments, he has the prototypical size. So I get why GMs fall in love with that. But he hasn't necessarily played well in the big moments. But in his mind, do I want to fight with Arch next year? Do I want to fight with Julian Sayin next year? Do I want to fight with all these other quarterbacks that could come out, you know, Sellers and DJ, all these other guys that are possibilities? Or do I want to know for sure I'm QB3 in this class? Or if Dante pulls the immaculate and comes back, I'm QB2 in this class. So in his mind, he's like, at the lowest, I'm QB3. So I understand why he wants to leave.
Yeah. And even all things considered, like if you hear from the NFL that you're a top 50 quarterback selection, take the money.
That's guaranteed.
Because I promise you, if Drew Law had come out last year after the college football playoffs, he would have been a top 50 pick.
He would have been a first round easily.
He would have been a first rounder
easily.
Because NFL teams really liked his size and traits. He's not getting drafted right now. Like that is how quickly
you took that chance.
Changed as far as that is concerned. So I completely understand why he would get out. I was a little bit surprised to say that he would have heard it or heard. I would say that that good of praise is coming back from NFL scouts and evaluators. But shout out to him. Trey, before you pull up whatever you're about to pull up, real quick, we don't know if it's actually going to happen or not, and I'm assuming that obviously Dante and Fernando are 1-2. Would you prefer Trinidad or Ty Simpson if you were an evaluator?
Knowing the fact that they're actually saying that Trinidad might come back for another year.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. I know that it's up in the air with his trying to get the wave to come back.
He's trying to get that.
Honestly, I think when it comes down to it, of course, like you got to tailor a little bit of 2 different style of quarterbacks. You got Ty Simpson, who's more of he likes to improvise here and there, but he's mainly a pocket passer. He's got a great arm talent. He's got great things. Compared to a guy like Trinidad Chambliss, who is more of a dual threat. He's more of a runner. He's more of a guy, and like he doesn't have the arm talent, but he makes up for the speed. Me personally, I honestly would take Trinidad just because of that small aspect of even though it's not D1 talent, but it's still he still got some time as a starter. I think that honestly, I would lean a little bit more towards Trinidad. He's got a little bit more to show. I mean, Ty kind of sat behind a couple quarterbacks. He was able to get his footing a little bit, learn the aspects of the game, and then kind of brought up into this area. I just like Trinidad from not only an athletic standpoint, but I think that he has the ability of not only building a little bit better of accuracy, but even more arm talent than Ty.
Trinidad reminds me of like a more athletic, more juiced Baker Mayfield. About the same build, good, really accurate when he needs to be. Leaves the pocket too much at times, which I think Baker kind of did a little bit out of Oklahoma. But once Baker found a GM that, or not a GM, an OC that he gels with, and he plays within structure and good weapons around him, he played very well, especially in Tampa Bay. So I think Trinidad could be that type of quarterback. I don't think he's like an instant day one starter. I think he needs to sit. He needs to learn and lively learn a playbook. But I think over time, either quarterback would be effective. But if I had to choose one, I probably would lean Trinidad as well. He just has that it factor as far as playing off schedule. And in the NFL, to be a high level or considered an elite level quarterback, you have to be able to play off schedule. And a lot of times this year, when Ty was asked to do that, that's when he kind of felt disrupted or felt like off kilter and turnovers came. I think Trinidad kind of thrives in playing, like we said, kind of that hero ball. You don't want to live in that, but if he has to turn that switch on, he can do it. And I think in the NFL, that's kind of what you want, that Baker Mayfield, that moxie, a quarterback like, all right, you going to put the game on my shoulders, I'll go out there and win it myself if I have to. So I would be happy if either quarterback, I think either one could be developed into a starter and a very good quarterback. But if I had to choose one, I probably would lean Trinidad just because of that it factor.
Yeah, I would go Trinidad. I think that, you said a juiced up Baker Mayfield, not prospect wise, but just the way he plays. I think he's a little bit similar to Brock Purdy, where it's volatile, especially from the outer structure standpoint. But the traits are there, and I think that he even has better traits than Brock Purdy did coming out of college, obviously too. For sure. So I thought you saw enough from him in structure that made me feel good about it. And then when you can make the adverse plays that I really like, I really think that he would be better than a prospect than Ty Simpson in that opinion. But it's not to say Ty doesn't have those qualities that you would want to go after. Prototypical size, prototypical arm. You've seen things in structure. He certainly made incredible plays versus Mizzou, which we have talked about as well. Seen him make plays in adverse circumstances, but I feel a little bit more comfortable with what Trinidad can bring to the table. So that was just a question that popped in my head.
No, it's a good comp. And Trinidad, I think like a year ago what he was thinking. He wasn't even starting football for Ole Miss. Now you have a possibility to get drafted. It's crazy.
It's very we talked about the negative aspects, and I hate bringing this up because I hated this story when it came out. D-Mac knows a little bit well. I think we all had a little note too. Damon Wilson has decided to hit the portal.
We saw that coming.
After an interesting conversation and a lengthy decision. A lot of the aspects were if he was coming back or if he was pursuing the draft. He did neither. He went to the portal. And honestly, before I want to get y'all takes on that because I'm still conflicted, even though I know the aspects of it what it is. But like in y'all minds, how do y'all think of this?
I mean, we were talking about him in the draft. Like if he fell, he would be a great value. So obviously he was getting NFL looks, and if they're looking at for you NFL, then you would know a SEC team or a Big Ten team would love to have you. So I'm not surprised he hit the portal. He know he's going to get a lot more money than Mizzou's probably willing to offer. Not a bad thing. He's a kid that could obviously raise his draft stock with another good year. So not surprised, man. Not surprised at all. I've been seeing a lot of teams asking for his services in the portal. So I'm sure he's gotten plenty of phone calls. So just got to let the kids do what's best they think is for their family and for their future and let them go about it. So would love to see him stay in Mizzou, but I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, again, we could say all the things about it. At the end of the day, these kids, they make the choices that they do. And sometimes they're not going to always work out. But the reality is they got to do what's best for them and their families. And you can always transfer college, as far as if you're a regular student. I think that they should have the freedom to do so as well. So this kid, obviously, I thought he played extremely well for Mizzou front. Honestly, that got let down by its secondary way too often as far as watching the games.
Especially this year, facts.
God, it was
rough.
And hey, you got to get – kid got to do what the kid feels is best. So shout out to him, man. And I'm wishing him the best as far as staying healthy and playing well wherever he goes. We do have to do a little bit long form breakdown, Trey. So I do need to be caught up on what Mizzou has been doing in the portal. I know we're hosting a lot of guys still. Got some edge guys coming in certainly, and obviously have done a lot of work to this point as well to supplement this team. So
For sure. Because I'm kind of looking at it. They're doing the coin toss. I'm watching this on the TV app. Shout out TV app. Appreciate y'all.
Got your boy Patrick Willis out there. Got Ray Lewis out there.
Said Ray Lewis
Got
out
some
there.
legends out there.
Yeah, they got some people out there. On the Mizzou aspect for what's going on, Mizzou has been hosting people. They've gone left and right. We actually lost. Well, we didn't regularly lose. Chase Hendricks decided to go to Cal. There's a guy that Mizzou had on their radar, but with the commitment of Horatio Fields, the former Wake Forest phenom that went to Auburn, that kind of put things out of perspective. Honestly, from my point of view of how Mizzou has done so far, they've done pretty decently. I'm not gonna give them well just yet because of the fact that there's still some positions that need to be addressed. Like we probably need at least one more offensive lineman, get a couple more edges, which DMAC just alluded to, saying that we have been hosting a few edges.
Oh, I need your take. How you feel about your boy Austin Simmons? Lucky lefty pulling up.
I like him.
Who's the last lefty to play for Mizzou? That quarterback.
I don't know.
Is he the first one?
If anything, I would probably say James. I don't know if James Franklin was a lefty.
He's a righty.
No, James is righty.
James is righty.
He may be the first lefty. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think he is the first lefty. I love it, honestly.
Is he gonna play baseball too, or he said?
I think so. I think that this is kind of like a similar level of what we saw from Sam Horn, where you're gonna let him play. He's gonna get into a quarterback battle. I don't think that for people who think that this is gonna be in the end all be all. He'll have
to earn it, but I think it's
he's
his
gonna
job.
earn it. Yeah, I think it's his job to lose. No disrespect to Matt. I love Matt. You know what I'm saying.
But you bringing that guy and you paying him money, bro. It's like,
yeah, it's one of those type of things. And he honestly, like Austin he's got great arm talent. I think the kid has got a great arm talent. It's a quick release. He's got a very quick release, so that's going to really help out in the short to intermediate game and the RPOs. It's just going to kind of have to be off of like everything else. But honestly, I love the idea. I love the situation. I think that he's going to be fantastic. We're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and pull this up then. DG, welcome in.
Our boy DG is here.
We're about to change this from we're about to do a multitude of things right here, man. Ole Miss did start off with the ball. What's up, y'all? What's up, DG? DG finally available, man.
Y'all got DG in here. I gotta hop off, but I will say I am definitely excited for the Simmons kid. Lefty, like you guys said, quick release. Seems like he's got a live arm. Nice little, he's got some mobility to him. Obviously, he was supposed to start for Ole Miss until he got hurt. So I'm gonna be a little bit excited to watch what we got, especially what he shows out through the spring game and see if he can push Matt Zoller certainly a little bit as far as competition is concerned. So I'll be interested. DG, hope you have a good night. CJ, good to talk to you. Trey as well. Hope y'all enjoy the game, man.
I can't even be on here long. I just hopped on to say, Raleek Brown, Zion Williams, we cooking, baby.
He said, "We back, baby. Hookoo.
We back, baby. Cam Coleman on the way."
Drop that bag.
Yeah, the fact that the dead giveaway was like, oh yeah.
Boy said he on the way.
Yeah. Cam, when they said what's his name? Jamie Fresh hit the portal. I said, oh, they're about to get Cam. Yes, that's pretty much the idea.
Bye.
He said bye.
Got to go.
You ain't gotta leave, but you gotta get back.
It's a new day on the 40 acres, fam. You gotta go.
You got to go, gang.
Love you, but you gotta go.
Deuces. Yeah. DG, what is your thoughts so far on the game as I pull up the play-by-play by ESPN?
I just turned it on.
It's third down. Ole Miss got the ball. One of the Miami D linemen just got hurt, so he's leaving the game.
That's Akeem Mesidor.
Oh, that ain't Mesidor. That's somebody. That's a D tackle.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah, that's D tackle.
I think it's gonna be a close game. You know me, how I feel about Doofy.
He called that boy he got a beak for a nose.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close game. I still got Miami winning. I think that's ultimately who. I got Indiana and Miami in the final.
Same.
I like Ole Miss, but I just think Miami's more well-rounded team, especially offensively. at this point right now.
But DG, early on in the season, we said Ohio State. Your pick was Ohio State was gonna win it all.
Yeah, hey, bro.
I mean, they got all the way. They got all the way to the quarterfinals.
What happened? They went 12-1.
And they lost to a team that's probably going to win the national championship or get to the game. So it's not a bad loss. They lost to Miami.
You know, it's any given Saturday for real.
And it wasn't like they really got whooped. They got the 2 best edge rushers in the country, and they whooped y'all that game. So
I just think, I think the schedule for Ohio State and things of that nature finally just kind of caught up to them. They have been kind of beating up on some teams that really weren't as talented as them, and I think they just ran into a team that was just as talented as they are.
Better, exactly.
You know? Or just playing, better ball at that point. So, I still think Ohio State is still going to be a contender year in and year out for this thing. But the CFP has obviously showed you that whatever 12 teams besides the G5 teams that get into this bracket. But 9, pretty much 10 out of these teams can win the national title, going through this bracket. So I'm not surprised, but I think Ohio State will be back at some point or whatever.
I got you.
I mean, it's good to see all the parity in college football. Obviously, we needed it. We didn't need to see because the last 6 to 7 championships was included some combination of Bama, Georgia, Clemson, or Ohio State. That was literally the 4 schools. And then you sprinkle in LSU's year, sprinkle in Michigan's year. It was pretty much the same 4 schools or 3 schools all the time competing either in the game or winning the game. So to see, obviously, Oregon, if they want to be their first national championship, Ole Miss to be their first national championship, Indiana be their first national championship, Miami's first since 2001. So it's going to be a storyline regardless, obviously. So I think college football needed that. It needed some fresh new blood for sure.
All right, yeah, for sure. As we continue to talk about it, while we were talking, Ole Miss went 3 and out.
3 and out, baby.
We got to see Ole Miss get the ball first.
Put a little pressure on them on 3rd down. Sent that blitz.
0 coverage too. They brought it off.
As they should. If you're Miami, you don't really respect. Not saying you don't disrespect their receivers, but it's like, bro, we just saw Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. This is a downgrade from a matchup standpoint. Everything Miami saw from last week, physicality, talent-wise, not to say Ole Miss is a good football team, it's just a downgrade. Ohio State has a better defense. They have better receivers. The only thing that's probably better for Ole Miss is the quarterback. If you want to say Trinidad's playing better than Julian than he was last month. But from an overall standpoint, Miami, this is an easier matchup of the two. So,
yeah, and I came into this game. Miami, to me, they got the better weapons, in my opinion.
They do. Fletcher,
sure. Malachi Tony
and CJ Daniels.
Both of those guys have been playing outstanding football, especially in these.
Oh, dang. Beck smoked it.
But I think, ultimately, Beck is the deciding factor for me. If Trinidad Chambers can outplay him,
for sure,
I think Ole Miss has a chance to win this game. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see. I'm just surprised Ole Miss has made it this far, especially with all the controversy with Lane Kiffin.
Man,
so shout out to all those kids who've been, basically stayed loyal and stuck it through and believed in all the other coaches around that campus to kind of get to this point. So
shout out Coach Pete, shout out Charlie Weiss.
Ole Miss should definitely be proud of where they at and where they made.
Absolutely. If you'd have told them they're going to get this far and their coach leaves, they would have told you no. Everybody would have said no to that. So the fact that they're here for a chance to go to a national championship and their head coach left the roster and he took coaches and with them, this is an incredible year for Coach Pete and Coach Charlie Weiss Jr., the OC. To lose Lane Kiffin, obviously I know everybody trolls him, but he's still one of the best offensive minds in the country. You lose a guy like that, that's not a minor loss. So the fact that they're doing this and Trinidad's about to get drafted, bro. He wasn't starting for Ole Miss last year. Now he's about to get drafted. So
that's a big story. DG, you were late coming in, but a report came out that Damon Williams, from the former Washington quarterback, has quote unquote been talking to Washington and leaning towards a comeback. What is your thoughts?
Look, when you get into the business of NIL and things of that nature, you sign your name on the dotted line. That's business,
Shouldn't
So
have signed,
I
gang.
know I know you want to try to make the best decision. I know this thing has created opportunities for kids to be able to, if they're not getting better, if they can get a better opportunity, they can go somewhere else or whatever. But it doesn't always work like that. You got to read. You really got to read your contract. Especially in this day and age, and now it gives schools more leverage to put kind of these kind of clauses in contracts where if you think about moving or jumping ship on us, then we take what we invest in you back.
And DG, he didn't have to sign. Like Lane Kiffin
Yeah.
been in the portal. So if you really wanted to go, why do you just tell the school, hey, bro, I appreciate the offer. I'll think about coming back. You're one of my options, but respectfully, I'm gonna go test the market, see what I can do, and put my name in the portal. And if I don't like it, I'll come back and sign. You didn't have to sign the deal. You could have go in and look. So that was kind of bad on him and his agent. Like, why'd you make him sign?
Yeah, that's why I said this is business. At the end of the day, you have to read your and that would be my caution to a lot of these kids. Read your contracts. Read the fine details.
Read it.
Read the fine print, yes, and then ultimately get legal services, lawyers, things like that to go over and explain to details and layman terms of what your contract ultimately says. And and I think that's one of the cases where this didn't happen, and you tried to jump ship, and UW basically told you no. So
that's gonna be hella awkward when coach call him, hey coach, when we got meetings, man, don't worry, we'll let you know. Man,
we gonna take you.
We'll let
you don't talk.
You don't talk to us right now.
Right?
We're mad at you.
Yeah, this is one of those things, man, where you gotta read through what's going on and know fully what you're dealing with. And I don't think he did that. So I would advise all those kids out there that are in the portal and things of that nature. Make sure you know what you're getting, understand your worth, and hope that you don't sign bad deals.
Don't sign the deal if you're thinking about other schools. It's okay to hit the portal and come back.
Yeah.
You could have easily hit the portal and just thought about it because like before the season ended, Lane Kiffin was already coach at LSU. We all know they needed a quarterback. So if that was a school on your market and you were thinking about it, you didn't have to rush to sign a deal for Washington. That deal was always going to be there. They weren't going to take it off the table. You were their quarterback this year. They were always going to have you as an option. So why not just test the market and put your name in the portal and then come back to the school? That was just a whole.
Just now, he has announced that he is going back to Washington.
Come on, bro. And we saw the tweet. It said he's leaning, DG. He's leaning.
And then now he's
leaning nothing.
It just came across my thing. He's announced his intent to return to Washington.
Boy, they said you were never going, son.
I bet he did.
Court case or play football? Which one you want? He's like, I guess I'll play football then.
I guess I'll just do that.
Bro, I know that OC funny text to him, boy. I could imagine what that text was like.
Either you come back,
you come back or go to court. Which one you want to do?
We come back or we sue you. Like, oh Lord Jesus. DG, you talked to us about you said a little bit about Malik Brown and Zion, whoever the hell he is. Talk to us about how Texas has done in the transfer portal so far.
A lot of people, so far, there's been complaints about guys leaving, things of that nature. I'm not really too worried about some of the guys that have left because a lot of those guys didn't play anyway. And obviously there's been rumors going around on the 40 acres that guys are trying to get better offers than what they probably deserve at this point. You didn't play last year, so why would I give you more money if you didn't play last year? So if you're not willing to come back for the same amount of money that we gave you last year and you didn't play a snap, then
trying to get an increase when you ain't played is crazy.
I'm not gonna up the offer. So a lot of the guys that obviously left, I'm not too mad about. Then obviously there's guys that was supposed to hop in the portal but didn't hop in the portal and went back to school and things of that nature. That's just the nature of the business. Like, people have to understand, that's just what these kids are gonna do, what they feel is best for them. So if Jaden Ball feels like the best route for him is to stay in Florida, by all means stay in Florida. If Isaac Brown feels like the best, situation for him is to be at Louisville and stay at Louisville. That's why I said today I think that Texas ultimately ended up getting one of the better running backs in the portal in Malik Brown. I think he helps them do a lot especially for next season, giving them a receiving dynamic, home run hitting threat kind of back out of the backfield. So, and then Zion Williams, I it's kind of a wait and see what's going to happen, but you definitely can tell Will Muschamp is definitely changing the trajectory of that defensive line in Texas. There's going to be a lot more size on that defensive line. They're going to be a lot more nastier than they were in previous years under Pete Kwiatkowski. So still waiting on some bigger dominoes to fall. They still need to fix offensive line. At this point, I would expect that there are some guys that they'll be talking to here in the coming weeks. But I think the biggest domino right now is that I think they're kind of waiting on the Cam Coleman news to see where they really want to go with the rest of their money. But right now, from what I'm seeing, it seems like Texas is possibly in the lead to get him.
He's going to end up in the state of Texas. Baylor, A&M, or Texas.
Yeah.
That's where he's going to end up.
Well, Texas Tech jumped in. Texas A&M is in on him as well.
He can go to Tech. That's crazy.
And then he was supposed to have a scheduled visit with Alabama. I know that Alabama recently hired Auburn's old OC. So I think that there's a connection there as well, too. So he might take a visit there. But obviously he's going to do what he feels is best for him. So I got to get off here, though, because I got another obligation I got to get to as well, too. So, but yeah.
Again.
All right. I'm trying to see if, because I'm behind because I got the TV app and the TV app ain't.
He said TV app. He said TV app ain't on shit.
They behind.
That bit on my phone.
I ain't gonna lie, because I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, TV app, they behind right now. But as it stands, for anybody who is not near a TV, currently Miami has the ball. They are driving. According to ESPN, it is a 3rd and 3. Early thoughts already. I'm gonna start off with you, CJ. What are your early thoughts so far in this?
Ole Miss defenses, they playing good ball. They just stopped them on 3rd and 3. For people who are not watching, Miami just tried to run a wildcat with Malachi Tony in the backfield. Didn't work. Tackle for loss. For Ole Miss, their defense is holding strong, man. They didn't give up too many hardly any explosive plays. They just held them to 3 points. So if you're an Ole Miss fan, this is what you can ask for. We got 6 minutes left in the first quarter. If Miami makes this kick, it's going to be a 3-0 game, and you have a chance to go down and score and take the lead. So if you're an Ole Miss, if this is a one-possession game, either team can win it. I think, like we said earlier, it favors Miami because they've won these games early and they can grind out the clock with the way they run the football. But if you're an Ole Miss fan, they didn't take your head off. They didn't score early. So now you have a chance to go respond. So
yeah, no, I agree because this was my question here. Is like my biggest issue is, of course, I took Ole Miss. But honestly, the biggest thing is in situations where we usually see Miami score 7, can Ole Miss do that it factor and hold them to 3? Because we're talking about a whole different ball game.
Facts.
So,
and on the other side, if Ole Miss comes out and score, do we think Miami's offense is consistent enough to go out there and score 7? Because they can win the time of possession, they can run the ball, they can score 3. Can you score 7 at a fast pace with Ole Miss? Because Ole Miss wants to score fast. So
yeah, for sure. And I think that's the biggest thing about it is like I think again I agree with everything you say, because it's like for Ole Miss's standpoint right now, they are like, you look up and you just saw, okay, yeah, they just bled a lot of clock, but it's only a 3-0 game. You're happy as an Ole Miss fan.
absolutely.
You're ecstatic because it's like
all that clock, 3 points.
3 points, all that clock, and
Take that any day.
You're good. Now it's just a matter of, okay, now we know that, Miami's not afraid to bring the blitz, as we knew they were going to do. They're going to bring the blitz and everything. What is going to be the response that comes from the Ole Miss team? How are they going to be able to respond? You had Trinidad, who only had 4 passing yards, which, I mean, that's good. You start off pretty decently. You had a quick out for a 4-yard game, and then it's just from then on, things just kind of went left. But now you're in a spot to where, okay, Miami just came off that field and they only let's go and take a look at teams. They just spent 7 minutes for 3 points. Like that's
5 minutes for a field goal for sure.
For a field goal. And especially let's also do that because Miami had a bit of a short field. They started at their own 35.
Yeah, short field. Melis Garifoni took a dangerous return, but caught it, and you think, okay. And they started off the drive good. They hit a couple runs with Fletcher. Shamar Brown came in there, made some plays. There was a deep shot on the play action that Beck missed to Tony. That would have probably took him over the top and gave him a chance. But either way, like you said, they got inside the red zone with a chance to score. But Ole Miss stood fast, 3rd and 3. They chose to go Wildcat, not throw the ball, not hand it off to Mark Fletcher. Tried to go Wildcat with Tony, and Ole Miss said, "Oh, we got that." So they stopped it and held them to 3. So if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're ecstatic. Your defense is playing good ball. Now I think if Ole Miss scores here, the pressure is definitely on Miami. They have to go respond.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I think that my question has been for Miami is when you're down because we haven't really
keep up.
Can you keep up? Because we saw, for instance, against Texas A&M. Texas A&M, part of the reason why Miami won that game is because Texas A&M couldn't afford to put up 7. They had opportunities where they could put up 7, but they couldn't put it there. And I know a lot of people talking about the win and everything and the kickers and all that. You had those type of games, and against Ohio State, you were leading for most of the game. You led for most of the game. So it's like now, how does Miami get out from these unfamiliar territory? How are they going to be able to handle if Ole Miss goes down here and score? What is Mario Cristobal's idea of how are we going to get back into this game?
Exactly. No, for sure. It's everything in the game so far leaning towards Ole Miss, especially if they score here. They'll take the momentum shift. Because obviously Ole Miss feel they can win a game if they have to come from behind. They're comfortable with playing fast. They actually rather play fast. You like having 6-7 minute drive. They don't like that. They want you to just go 3 and out, get the ball back, and they can go tempo. They want to have this game total snaps wise to be like 80 plus snaps, 75, 70 plus snaps. They don't want the game to be low scoring. So if you're a Miami fan, you love the fact that they had a long drive. You just rather end that drive with 7 because 3 leaves the door open for Ole Miss to go score, and then that long drive was for nothing. Now we're still down. So obviously, we're going to see how Ole Miss responds right here. I expect them to get a lot more screen game action involved. Like they blitz heavy that first drive. So I expect them to do some more screen game, get Kawan Lacey involved in the screen game. And I think obviously Ole Miss doesn't want to have a straight drop back game. You don't want to give Bain and obviously Messidor time to get back there and disrupt the play. So I think naturally if you're an Ole Miss guy, you have to think we have to get some type of quick game involved. And whether that be completing a swing pass tray, a slant, a bubble screen, something just to move the ball to substitute the run game, and then get on the ball and do it again. Don't allow Miami to substitute. Don't allow them to change personnel. You want to keep playing fast. The faster you play, their D-line gets tired. That means guys can't come off the field, and then that helps you get first down. So I expect Ole Miss to go a lot of tempo right here and try to get one big play and then get on the ball and do it again. But it takes that one first down, though. You got to get that first one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm looking at the lines. This is according to DraftKings right now. They got it suspended because it's the in-between time. Q1 Lacey 2 catches is the base level at -130. So anything up towards that is plus money.
I like his catches and his yards line before the game was like 12.5. I'm like, that's just one screenplay. He can get that off rip. So I think if they give him the ball in a screen or a swing pass, something to get him involved in or a check down involved in a passing game, because obviously Miami has a good pass rush, and I don't think Trinidad is going to have a lot of time to get the ball downfield. So they're going to have to do something short. So I think Kawan Lacey's receptions and yards are definitely in play if you want to take that live for sure.
No, for sure. And while we're in the in-between time, let's go ahead and pay some type of bills. Shout out to our good people at Underdog. Use promo code KingdomCast for, I believe, if you put in 5, you get 75 back now. First it was like 5, you get 100 back in bonus credits. This time it's 5 and 75. But yeah, man, y'all watching the game with us while we talk about the
lock them plays in.
Lock them in. CJ put out a good amount of them. If y'all are Underdog right now, go ahead and hit up Underdog because look, he's sitting over there telling y'all he want Lacey receptions and yards.
It's gonna be a good play. And then after he got somebody to throw the ball to him, so Perry with Trinidad. So it's a good play. And I would keep taking Mark Fletcher. Shout out to the city. Shout out Mark.
Shout out Mark.
Mark Fletcher's rushing yards because they fed him a lot during that first drive. If you want to take anybody for an ATD, I like Fletcher or Shamar Brown for sure. I think if they get down to the goal line, they're going to run the ball. So I think that's a pretty good lay. You can get some good odds, man. Just watch the game, get a feel for the game, see who's touching the ball the most. And that's how you make a live bet. Just watch and see who's getting the touches.
For sure. And I mean that my whole thing is me personally, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh snap, Carson Beck rushing yards or what?
And just like
Because
we said, first play of this drive, guess who catches the ball? Kwan Lacey. It was only for like 3 yards, but that's what I'm saying. They gotta go quick game. They're not gonna have enough time to throw the ball down the field. Like Trinidad's gonna have to throw the ball, bro, probably like 35 times tonight if they want to win, bro. Like I don't see how they're gonna run the football on Miami. I really don't. So like I like Kwan Lacey, but he's a very light-footed back. Like he's not a big dude. So
and I agree there because it's like wow, we got some breaking news. Okay, we'll get that in the in between time. But yeah, no, like Kwan Lacey, kind of like what you said. Like he got the first catch. You go to Kwan for a decent amount of games, and I always say this, especially when you're playing an inferior defense, your goal is to get at least 3 yards of play. If you're able to work with 3 yards of play, you're setting yourself up for third and fourth and manageable. You saw with Miami. Miami was able to they were able to have manageable situations to where they had to go ahead and honestly they had a situation where they could go for it on fourth down. We saw Ole Miss hold them to the third down twice, and Miami had to convert twice. So this is
just like that, Miami gets off the field on third down. Like I said, Ole Miss, you got to convert these third downs, man. If you're gonna keep getting off the field, Miami's gonna keep blitzing you, and they're sending another simulated pressure. And Trinidad tried to get it off and throw through it, and he made the right throw. It was short, and obviously, just like that's what happens when you have these long distances on third down. That plays in favor of Miami because they have the DBs and the rushers to get to you. Decent punt. I think that starts Miami at their own 20. 21. Decent punt. So, I mean, that's Ole Miss's defense is gonna have to go out there and play good football. But yeah, if you're Ole Miss, man, you got to score eventually. You can't keep leaving your defense on that island eventually because eventually Miami's gonna make some plays and they're gonna burn the clock out. Guys are gonna get tired. They're gonna win time of possession, and then Mark Fletcher's gonna hit a 30-yard run, or Shamar Brown, or they're gonna do a play action to Tony or CJ. So you got to eventually move the ball to keep your defense off the field because that's back-to-back drives. Ole Miss has gone 3 and out. So Miami is winning the game right now. If Miami go down there and scores, now they have a 2-possession lead with that pass rush, and now you're in a pass game script if you're Ole Miss. So if I'm Miami, I definitely want to have their goal is to have another long drive. Don't go 3 and out, and you want to go down here and score. Don't go down and kick 3. Go get a touchdown because if you do 3, you're taking time off the clock, but Ole Miss could go score and be in the lead. So if you're Miami, you want to score right here. Don't go kick a field goal.
Nah, for sure. And while we are in between the break, let me go ahead and get this up here. We got another bit of breaking news. Of course, transfer portal always happens. It's always going. Let me go ahead and get this up here. We got another bit of breaking news. USC 5-star Hussein Longstreet? Hassan Longstreet? Hassan? Yeah, I think it's Hassan. Hassan Longstreet. He has decided to hit the portal. I think that this could be big in a couple of reasons. Number one is USC's who's USC starting quarterback?
Yeah, Jaden Maiava.
Yeah, Jaden Maiava. That means that he's definitely coming back for another year. Why did I not know that? Of course I know that. Jaden Maiava's coming back for another year. That means Hassan Longstreet could be it. And I heard from a couple Oregon fans that if Hassan hits the portal, Oregon might be aggressively looking for him because their backup quarterback Austin Novosad hit the portal.
He hit the portal too. Because he waiting on Dante to see what Dante does. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this could be huge. This could be a huge thing for USC. That means that number one, you got your quarterback back, but now you're in a spot to where you're bringing in a freshman. Your freshman is probably going to be your backup.
It's going to be a spicy situation. That's probably the deepest position in the portal is QBs, boy. It was like everybody quarterback.
Oh yeah, no, we about to go ahead and hit in that portal. I gotta go ahead and put this out. Mizzou actually has somebody on a visit right now. Very interesting. Hold on, give me a second. I'm about to go ahead and get this out. Oh, I'm trying to log into my 24/7. Montana State cornerback. Missouri is hosting a cornerback from Montana State. So something to eye out for Missouri fans. That's gonna be interesting. Oh, gosh, I guess. So CJ, so while we watching the college football playoff game, who's been the guy or what has been the game or the players that you've enjoyed watching so far?
There's been a lot of good players. Obviously, Messidor and Bain have been wrecking games all year. They've been doing it throughout these playoffs. Obviously, they're both on our boards for players we like to get in the draft. As far as Ole Miss, I'm definitely had a great time watching Trinidad Chambliss. He's been probably one of the biggest stars, not the biggest star as far as the playoff right now. He's been just going out there incredible. A D2 quarterback who comes in here and takes over the middle of the season and possibly takes his team to a national championship. You can't write a better college football story than that. That's like the dream. You go to a small school. He had to sit at the D2 school, eventually had a chance to start. Then as soon as he did that, got a chance to move up to Ole Miss and the SEC. That's a big jump. And then now he takes over the middle of the season, not projected to be the starter, and played great ball. Went out there, had a hell of a game versus Georgia, had his hero moment. So let's see if he can follow it up here. But no, those have probably been some of my favorite guys to watch. And then obviously got your other guys like Kawan Lacey. I love watching Stribling for Ole Miss. He's been playing good ball. Definitely like watching guys like Keontae Scott for Miami as well. Some other guys that could possibly fall down the board and we can draft. So, but overall, man, it's been refreshing to watch the playoff and see a lot of guys that aren't, the usuals. Like I said, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Clemsons. It's been the same four schools besides like those couple of years where LSU and Michigan won. It's been the same schools every year. So now it's good to see some fresh new blood. We're going to get a new face to win a national championship this year that we haven't seen ever or in a very long time in Miami's case. So no, it's been good to watch, man. It's been a lot of good players in this playoff, and there's always going to be guys that have their moment and make a play. But no, it's been good to see, man, for sure.
Who is your national champion?
I think I'm gonna go Miami. I think Miami wins tonight, and I got Indiana winning tomorrow. And like I said, man, I've been saying it all year. Signetti's Teflon, man. He just finds a way. I don't know why. Like every game he's supposed to. After that Penn State game, bro, I stopped doubting Indiana because I'm like, there's no way they should have won that game. Literally no way. And then they beat Ohio State the way they did, and then thoroughly embarrassed Alabama, even though Alabama wasn't all that this year. I gotta go Indiana, man. That's just. I didn't really believe beginning of the year. I thought it was just like a one-hit, wonder last year. But after the way they came back with that miracle win versus Penn State and all these wins down the stretch when they played Oregon, Ohio State, and Bama, is just Signetti's not afraid of the moment. His kids aren't afraid of the moment, and Mendoza's the Heisman winner for a reason, man. So they just find ways to win. And like I said, I think their best receiver on their team has been their wide receiver 3, Charlie Becker. It's like when they need to make a play, they throw it to him. He's not even the best receiver on the team. So it's like, if they have that much depth and they are like obviously too deep in running back and they have multiple receivers they can get the ball to and their quarterback is playing great ball and they're not really turning it over, it'll be a good game between them and Oregon. It'll be a very tight, low-scoring game, but I think they find a way to win it. I think I'm going to go with Indiana, man. I know originally before the playoffs started, I picked Ohio State because I thought it was going to be Ohio State versus Indiana, and I thought that was going to be the championship. And Ohio State would get their get back, but obviously Ohio State got knocked out. So if I'm going to stick with the other side, man, I'm going to go with Indiana, national champs.
Nah, for
crazy to say, football, not basketball. Crazy.
Yeah, Indiana for national championships in football is crazy.
It's gonna
be wild. Honestly, me personally, you saw. I think my biggest thing was I chose Oregon, and the reason why I took Oregon was I saw how they responded after that Indiana game. Is that they looked decent. They were going through injuries during the time period afterwards. They kind of went off of it and they kind of just figured out their niche. They lost some people, but they continuously had a good offense and they had a defense that can help keep them not only in the lead, but also if they were losing, they kept them in the game. So I'm rocking with Oregon. I love this offensive core. I think that them losing Jordan Davidson for Jordan Davidson. Losing him to a clavicle thing, a broken clavicle, that's unfortunate. Prayers definitely go out to him. But I mean, the thing about it is like a lot of people looking at it be like, oh, Oregon only has 3 available running backs. Sometimes all you need is 2 or 3. And as long as you got a speed and a power, look, you're gonna do what you gotta do to win a game.
It's only one game. It's only one
Yeah.
game.
You need two to win. You need two to be a national champion. So
All it takes. Absolutely.
yeah. While we were talking, a huge chance just happened where Ole Miss almost lost lost one of their linebackers to targeting. Luckily,
That was very, very close. Very.
I didn't think it was targeting because I thought that Malachi kind of lowered his head anyway. So I was like,
It was a low. It was a low ball. They both had to go like this because he's trying to catch the ball. You're trying to hit him. So
yeah. But I mean, we're seeing a little bit. We're kind of seeing what Miami loves to do. They'll start off by going pass, and then they'll combat that by just going straight runs. So it's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting on not only how Miami is able to take care of things offensively, but how Ole Miss takes care of the ball defensively. Is Malachi hurt? Is Malachi back in the game or not?
He came back in.
Oh, he came back in. Cool. Yeah, TV pass, of course, because I'm behind. I just watched him come back in. Nah, man, this is interesting. It's been an interesting game so far, dude. I don't care what anybody says. I think like Malachi Tony showing up and being this player for Miami. Nobody's really talking about that story. Yo, freshman receiver being your number one.
Crazy.
It's a crazy story, man.
Arguably the best player on the team.
For sure. Because you making Carson make his reads a little bit better, and it's like now it's a better better opportunity for him.
All-star for Miami. They not trying to win right now. They give Ole Miss life.
See, if you're Miami right now, you arguably say you got to put up 7.
That's a fact because you keep letting Ole Miss hang around, they will score.
It takes
sitting there looking crazy.
Was that a backwards? Yeah, that was a backwards pass.
Backwards pass, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which I mean, this is again also in Ole Miss's favor. If you making Carson Beck have to be Superman,
he ain't gonna beat you.
He's not gonna beat you.
That's a fact. Unless you have busted coverages, as long as you play solid defense, he ain't gonna beat you.
Yeah, he ain't.
And Ole Miss gets off the field again.
See,
Ole Miss came to play.
Look, a lot of people were down in Ole Miss and said BTA.
I'm saying, I was like, it's gonna be a one possession game for sure.
I heard somebody say it was BTA. I said, how?
I don't know, bro. Miami can run the ball. I don't know if they that good at running the ball. Like, it's a good running offense, but I don't know if it's like that good. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is. Look, you look at me like, dang, they're beating y'all in all aspects, but it's only a 3-point game. That gotta be a wild one right there. Hold on, I'm taking a look.
If you Ole Miss, you did all that work and they only took 3. Boy, I'll be ecstatic.
Boy, you go in this second quarter and you like, we only down 3.
They had the ball forever. We only down 3.
Well, we only down 3. Now, I think that honestly, you want it if you're Ole Miss though. I do believe that if you really want a chance of winning this game, part of the thing that you're gonna have to do now is you're gonna have to move the ball down the field.
Right.
Like,
you got to score eventually. Your defense is doing their part. They got 2 straight stops. You have to go score. You got to put a drive together. You got to score for sure.
And I mean, as I'm looking at it, dang, I can't get. Why can't I ever? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the Q and Lacey receptions, but they're only letting me get 3 right now for minus 145. Which I'm like, bruh, I really want it. Dang, where does it go? Oh, there it is. Play it for 15 plus yards. It's minus 125. Looking like a.
And Miami jumps off sides, gave him a free first down.
Thank you. I'm telling you, look, a lot of people believe CJ. I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's gonna be straight BTA."
Ain't never wrong picking Miami. But I don't know about whooping they behind. I don't know about that.
No. I heard. Shout out Chuck, but Chuck said quote is going to be BTA.
We'll see. Ole Miss don't look overwhelmed right now. Look like they're hanging in there.
They okay. They feeling good. I'll put it in. Keelan Lacey receptions, rushing yards, and Trinidad Chambers for rushing yards.
I hate how quarterback sacks count toward the stats. So stupid.
Bro, because I'm like -13. He didn't run
That's
for
what I'm
negative 13.
saying, bro. I'm like, I hate that rule. They need to change that.
They do. That needs to, if anything, count it for a sack.
Exactly.
Let's count it for a
No, I'm
sack.
about to head out, bro. I'm hungry. I'm about to go get something to eat.
Probably-
I'm gonna finish watching the game.
Yeah, we're
I'll
probably
holla at y'all.
yeah.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Alrighty. Now we're gonna be behind. Yeah, my apologies. I'm probably about to be behind with the analysis. CJ had it quicker than I did, but nevertheless, we still gonna get the job done. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and we're gonna have it. It is currently the end of the first quarter. Kind of thoughts already, kind of like what I've already said beforehand. First off was if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're looking at this in totality. Miami has dominated you in time possession. They have. They've beaten you in time of possession. Trinidad has really not had a chance to throw the ball. And everything, all the who that, all that. Malachi Tony's already got 2 catches. Everything else. If you're honestly an Ole Miss fan, you're looking at this and said this team in the first half or in the first quarter dominated us 12 minutes to 3. We'll say 3. 12 minutes to 3 minutes. So they beat y'all by 9 minutes and you're only down 3. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm taking that each and every day. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Because now it talks about not only the ability of your defense, but also the offense. You're taking a lot of pressure off of Trinidad Chambers. Now, mind you, the pressure is there. The pressure is always going to be there. But the thing about it is you're talking about a whole different ball game when it's a 3-point ball game compared to when it's 7 or 10. If you're an Ole Miss fan, you're very excited about this. You're enjoying what you're at. You're just trying to figure out everything. You're trying to get everything lined up. And currently, you're Pete Golding. You're only down 3 points. So that's a big positive. That's a huge positive actually, because this whole thing has just been a slugfest. This is a battle of defenses. You got Ole Miss defense that is known for pressures, for their trenches. They got pressure straight up the middle and elsewhere. Now you're going ahead and you got yourself set up to where you're in a good spot. So interesting to see how Pete Golding makes these adjustments. These are the kind of the criticisms that are what I believe that was needed for things that was needed for between Pete Golding and Lane Kiffin. It's because kind of that whole opportunity of what do you see it as? We're not you watching this. So now again, a lot of decisions that needs to be made, a lot of certain areas that needs to be acknowledged. But right now, you're excited if you're an Ole Miss fan. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna watch a little bit longer because, again, I know that I kind of want to watch it by myself, as well as I got to tap into other things as well. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna watch this last drive by Ole Miss, and then I'm gonna shut it down. The last one I want to just tell y'all is I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the love that y'all have done for me. I appreciate all the love that y'all have given me, DG, CJ, everybody basically. And oh my gosh, Keewan Lacey finds an open lane, 2010-5 touchdown. Ole Miss. Ole Miss is on the board. See, there it is. This is what we were talking about when we said, hey, Miami, y'all, it is great. Y'all dominating time of possession. Y'all need to go ahead and put a 7 up on the board. Don't let Ole Miss get comfortable. Very first play Keywan Lacey to the crib. Well, second play. Second play of the game, Keywan Lacey straight to the crib for a 73-yard rushing touchdown. And with the extra point, Ole Miss now takes the lead. See, now there it is. Now you got pressure. Now here comes that pressure for Ole Miss. They got a little bit of confidence. Again, your defense has been out there for a minute, but now you gave them something to look forward to, as well as now you have opened up a little bit more for Trinidad Chambers to go beat Trinidad Chambers. What a run by Keywan Lacey, which has been the best back for LSU, arguably one of the best backs in college football. My personal belief, he's third behind Jeremiah Love and Amar Hardy. Honestly, that's a big win for Ole Miss, and because it happened so quickly, y'all, we're gonna stay for the Miami drive as well, because yeah, that I did not expect them to go off and just say, boop, let's go ahead and go get to the touchdown. With Keywan Lacey, shout out to anybody who took Keywan Lacey anytime touchdown. All right, kicking off. Ole Miss will kick it off to the Miami 20. And here comes Miami. Miami looking to respond. It's gonna be interesting how Mario Cristobal adjusts to this. Is he gonna have Carson Beck be more of a passer? Are they gonna continue to try and have them run the ball still? What is going through the mind and the thoughts of Mario Cristobal? That is my main question. I'm wondering what's going to be happening here. It's going to be a very interesting call. Again, mind y'all might be ahead. I'm on playback, so things are a little bit differently. Or not playback, but I'm on the TV app. Oh, have I been saying playback the entire night? My bad, y'all. I'm so used to this being something that would be on playback. First and 10. Miami with the ball. Carson Beck dropping back. Looks right. Goes to who is that? Who's not? I forget who's number 7. I'm so used to saying Xavier Restrepo. That was to Malachi Tommy's number 7 or number 10. That was number 7, CJ Daniels, of course. Duh. CJ Daniels. Sorry, I'm so used to Xavier Restrepo. It's ridiculous. Second and 3, ball on the 32 or 33-yard line. Handoff. Mark Fletcher. Oh my God, this kid can run. That kid can absolutely run. Gets an 11-yard gain, and now Miami's got some movement. Now they moving that ball too. It's gonna be interesting on it's going to be interesting on seeing how Ole Miss responds. This is going to be an interesting response. It's going to be interesting how they handle things. It's going to be wild. Carson Beck fakes, play action, looking for the deep ball, looking, and flag is coming. That was obvious. Carson was looking for Mark Fletcher. Obviously, Perkins came in way too early. You cannot make contact on a receiver before the ball arrives. That's a free penalty. That's a free first down. Ole Miss, you cannot afford to do that kind of thing because, again, you had great coverage. You had him. You took away the deep ball. You got to be able to get to the ball before you get to the receiver. That was easy contact. That was an easy flag. Great call by the ref. That's what's up, man. Alrighty, first and 10, ball on the Miami 40-some yard line. Oh my gosh, Malachi Tony drops a ball. I don't think he would have gotten a lot, but you're running a bubble screen, and Carson leads it way too in front of Malachi. Malachi is looking too back. Just straight drops it, man. A little too far. 2nd and 10. Ball on the Miami 47. 2nd and 10. Carson back. Dropping back. Delivers left. Hits him. First down. What a catch. That's a heck of a catch because honestly, they need to hurry up and they need Carson needs to settle down a little bit because right now he's making some errant passes. First and 10, ball on the Ole Miss 42-yard line. Carson single back to his right, drops back, looking right, scrambling, throwing a deep ball. Malachi Tony, nobody's there, and honestly, nobody could get there. I don't know what, I'm guessing he just tried to throw it away, but Carson just throwing a little bit too far, honestly. Great move by Malachi on the double move, but yeah, that ball was nowhere close to Malachi. He tried to lead him to the pylon. Ball ended up going out of bounds. Don't know why in the world you take that shot like that. 2nd and 10. Carson hands the ball off. Actually keeps it on an option play, on a read option. Gets about 4 yards. So that's going to set up a 3rd and long. Again, Ole Miss, if you get Miami off the field right here, you're in a very good situation to, even though you're close and you might be close inside your territory of the field, you get Miami off the field a lot. This is usually how it goes. 3rd and 7. They're 1 for 4 on 3rd down. Carson dropping back, looking right, looks left, delivers middle of the field, wide open. Why are you leaving them wide open? He gets it over to Lofton. That's a 1st down. No pressure on Carson. You rush with 4. You try to stunt. You spent more energy stunning than you did getting pressure. Easy 1st down. And Lofton is hurt, actually. Lofton is wobbling on the sideline. Bro, the fact that Michael Irvin, every time they show the sideline, you see Michael Irvin. That is clearly, oh my gosh, a bad snap. I think that they're gonna call this a false start. I think they're gonna call this a false start. I think there's either gonna be a false start or some type of legal formation. They're not gonna. Are they calling this a penalty? Or are they gonna call this a fumble? Did they get it off right before the snap? Wow, they got it off right before the snap. That's crazy. That was crazy. That's probably why Carson wasn't expecting it. But no, this is interesting. This is very interesting coming from a standpoint. It's gonna be a very interesting decision to make. This is gonna be wild to see how they think and what's their process of it. But yeah, no, this is gonna be an interesting decision. In the in-between time, again, appreciate y'all for coming in. I know that we kind of extended it because the game was on. I was like, nah, I don't want to leave y'all out. Just kind of figuring things out and kind of getting everything going. We got everything going a little bit. God, it's hard to do things by myself, but we gotta. Luckily, I got good support. Appreciate y'all again for tapping in with me and with Kingdom Cast and with Tell the Truth. Tell the Truth on Tuesdays or whenever day that they decide to go live. Kingdom Cast on Thursdays. We got the Redshirt podcast with me and DG. That happens whenever DG has time. So we're gonna just try and figure it out as soon as possible. So, but all right, we are coming back from a break. Coming back, again. This is a chance for this is a chance for this is a real big chance to see what Ole Miss's defense is capable of and what is the thought process in the Miami offense. Are they going to go all in because they want to continue to have the lead that they're going to try and go for 7, or is Ole Miss going to be able to have the firepower to again hold them to 3 again? This is familiar territory for if Ole Miss wants to win this game. They're going to have to make Miami settle for 3. First and 10, ball on the Ole Miss 24-yard line. Carson Beck has a single back tight end to his left shoulder. 2 wide receivers out to his left, tight end on his inside on his right. Looks, hands it off. Mark Fletcher goes right up the field, gets about 4 yards. Miami continuously leaning on their bread and butter. Oh, that's not even, no, that's not Mark. That's actually, my bad. Hold on, who is that? Oh no, I should have my Shamar Brown. My bad. Shamar Brown with the carry, gain about 4. Second and 6, ball on the 21-yard line. Carson single back to his right, 2 wide receivers to his left. Calls out the play, takes the snap, looking left, looking deep ball, end zone. Great play by Ole Miss. Great play. He was looking for his slot receiver. I would not be surprised. I think that's Malachi Tony. They were looking for Malachi Tony on the deep fade. Great play by Ole Miss. Great play by Braxton. Great job just knowing when to put your hand up. Great defense. Looks back for the ball. Will not give. When you have that type of coverage, the referees cannot call that one. Third and 6, ball on the 21-yard line. This is really where we see what is the real Ole Miss defense. Do they have enough in them to get another stop? Carson dropping back, looking right, dumps it off. Malachi Tony gets out of a tackle. Wow, first down. Wow, Ole Miss. Why? That's great play by Tony, but you have to tackle an open field. You cannot just go grab him by his foot and expect him to go straight down. Like, that is, like, if you're talking about a guy who has not shown up or has been a key part of Ole Miss being in this spot, it's got to be number 4. First and 10, ball on the 13-yard line, I believe. Yeah, 13. Handoff straight up the middle to Mark Fletcher. Mark is about 6 yards. So Miami not going away from what they know, what they know about. Who is number 4? I'm trying to figure out what number 4 is. That is Satarian Perkins. Satarian Perkins, he's been very crucial on this drive, or not on this drive, but in these last few. Elijah Lofton is heading towards the locker room, and he's got his towel over his head. This ain't good. Miami is already down one of their tight ends. That is huge. Handoff straight up to Mark Fletcher. He looks forward, he leans forward and gets about 4, so he's setting up a 3rd and short for Ole Miss. Again, for Miami, Ole Miss. This is again they've been doing something similar to what they did the first drive. They continuously milk clock, and they're going to continuously try and use their physicality to their advantage and get those extra fighting yards. 3rd and 2, ball on the 5. Mark Fletcher to his left, 2 receivers and a tight end to his two receivers and a tight end to his left, tight end to his right. Straight up the middle, Mark Fletcher trying to get in. Stopped at the 2, but it is 1st and goal. It is 1st and goal for Miami. Yeah, this is not a game that you want to have if you're Ole Miss. You want to be able to try and get. You're gonna try and be able to figure out a way to keep Miami from getting in the end zone. This is going to be a very interesting call for Ole Miss. Are you going to go full out for the run game? Or are you going to sell out fully for the run game and try and put pressure on Carson Beck? Or are you going to get ready and a straight up handoff? Mark Fletcher. Oh, wow. Wow. Shamar Brown falls. That he slips and falls. Hey, look, we told people about that Arizona field. That Arizona field, it's very slippery. It is very slippery. If you don't have good traction on your shoes and you don't have short enough spikes to get down there, yeah, it can be an issue for you as a runner. 2nd and goal. Ball on the 4-yard line. I formation, handoff again this time. Does he get across? He does. That is a Miami touchdown. And that is Shamar Brown. He said, "I fell down the first time, coach. Keep putting the ball in my hands." And they did, and it results in a tutty. So that right there, that was a big one right there for him. Checking to see if he got across. Of course he did. Offensive lineman was willing for him to roll on him to make sure he got in. No knee hits the ground. Touchdown, Canes. Looking to kick the extra point, and it is good. With 7:09 left remaining, Miami is up 10-7. And with that being said, y'all, appreciate y'all coming in. This is a lot longer of an episode than what it normally is. We will have an actual one where we watch the full game. It's just, y'all, I got dinner waiting on me, and I wasn't expecting. Sorry, y'all. I wasn't expecting to be on here much longer, but it is what it is. TJ, thank you for reposting the stream, but I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Thank y'all. Season's over for the Chiefs, so tell the truth. You got wrestling on tomorrow, I believe. You got something set up. We're gonna do something for the NFL playoffs, so just be on the lookout. We'll probably do a live reaction of the games. Might be, so be on the lookout for that. Either way, tell the truth is coming in. We're getting ready for the draft, as well as telling y'all who we think might be great Chief players to pick. And then in between time, love yourselves, love each other. Number one, y'all tune in to me in 4 hours and 12 minutes. Tomorrow's gonna be a very special day for me. Happy Founders Day to the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Tomorrow's gonna be our day, so I'll be lit. I'll be having fun. In the meantime, between time, love yourselves, love your family, love each other. We love you guys, each and every one of y'all. Keep doing y'all thing. Peace.